All right, y'all, without further ado, we want to say thank you for everyone who's coming in, who's tuning into this, our 25th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Legacy of Environment and Social Justice Poetry Jam. My name is Croilot. I will be your host for the night. And also, if you definitely want to hear some, mastermind pieces of poetry, things that's gonna, we're pretty much gonna bring it to y'all tonight. So we hope you enjoy the night. We hope you enjoy the entertainment. Also the words, peace and blessings to everyone. We also want to say this is in honoring our sister Zannette Lewis, who actually started this whole poetry jam for us here at Yale Peabody Museum. Giving it up to Yale Peabody Museum. Also, David is one of our hosts here. He has a few announcements to make before we get it started. David, would you like to come on real quick?
Thanks a lot, Croilot. Great to be here. And yeah, I am just so excited to be here tonight. My name is David Heiser. I've worked at the Peabody Museum almost 20 years now, and I've been involved in this celebration for 20 years. And in particular, this is the Poetry Slam and Open Mic, and tonight's jam is something I look forward to all the time. So I just wanted to say a quick thanks, first of all, to everyone who's going to be involved tonight. All the poets, Croilot and Ngoma. It's been fantastic working with the two of you in particular, but I know a lot of the poets out there who I know and have met over the years, and many of you I haven't yet. I'm looking forward to hearing your work tonight. So I'm just really glad we're able to do this, even though we can't come together in person. But I want to welcome you to the whole event. This is part of the 25th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Legacy of Social and Environmental Justice, which is a 5-day event, began on Thursday and is going to continue tomorrow with lots of other things going on. So those of you who are out there, be sure to check our website or Facebook page or other social media to see all the amazing things that are happening tomorrow too. But for tonight, I just want to say that this whole festival is presented by the Yale Peabody Museum, as well as the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. And this is done in partnership with the New Haven Museum, Students for Educational Justice, and the Schwartzman Center at Yale. The 5-day celebration is made possible with exclusive sponsorship by Citizens Bank, so we thank them. And just a note for those of you who have tuned in tonight, this event, we consider it appropriate for adults and young adults with the discretion of a parent or guardian. It may contain adult themes and language, I should say. So just if you're on as a family, just be prepared. It's usually very raw, very honest, and phenomenal poetry. So I'm just really glad to be here. And Croilot, I'll turn it back over to you now. Thanks.
Great. So definitely. Let me see if I could. Okay, I'm on. All right, great, definitely. So I'm gonna start the night off for you guys with a poem, and I'll be introducing the first poet up. So this is my poem right here. If you could see. Okay, great. They turned the God of the Bible into a racist thug, as if Jesus did not incarnate out of sand niggas' blood. Damnation of the transition blocked the killing of blacks to entertain the government's ambition. Situation unclear? Revisit the dead Christian in the Roman Colosseum. You move in spirituality, but what spirit drives spiritualism? Mass incarceration of the mind. Burn the gospel up and turn the ashes into wine. Black lives always mattered. It's like slapping Nat Turner with an affirmative action from an auction block. Man, you forgot the seethe saw the guillotine that seesaw. Be all outside of the country, but return back as a nigga. I figured the structure of the battle would outdo the labor. The savior no longer save if you're already not in that number. Otherwise, your acceptance is praised in the new world order. The order is transitioning to reconstruct from bottom up. Of course, the ugliness had to come out of the virus. Blood of the enslaved and the indigenous. Teach me how to fish and watch this fisherman take every risk. Kiss the palm of a prayer because the answer's already been there. We just won't admit it. We just won't accept it. Black, white, brown, red. Man, we are the problem. The problem can't solve itself to really see the outcome. We can never be free. when there's bodies enslaved to sin. The snake continues to dance his rhythm between our skin, baptized in hell's kitchen with chokeholds and knees buckled to the chin, while a 12-year-old Negro boy watch how his life will end. The story of the unprivileged, the unknown, the unwritten, the X marked by the privilege. You ain't turning this page, this rage, this blaze, this uncaged, this teeth unlocked, ready to cock back and shoot back this gun's gauge. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who would attempt to destroy and poison my brothers, my kings, my queens of the Ebonics, code switching, hook on the streets phonics, giving birth to cultures that you still continue to steal. No matter how much technology you have, you still can't comprehend the creativity our souls manifest to keep it real. Thank you, y'all, for pretty much giving me the opportunity to spit this piece, this hip hop poetry piece. In any case, without further ado, I would like to introduce you guys to our first runner-up, our first poet up, part of the group called Bread is Rising out of New York City. I would like to introduce to y'all Angel Martinez.
Hey, much peace, love to everybody. Thank you, Brother Croilot. That was an awesome piece. That was a wonderful start to the evening. And thank you. And I see Brother Bob out there. Hey, what's happening? And David Heiser, thank you for all your support for all these years. And to start us off on tonight, I just want to give a shout out to a comrade of Martin Luther King Jr., who we recently lost. So my poem's dedicated to him and to his own fight for educational justice. Hank Adams went to the spirit world from the Assiniboine and Sioux Nations. He left us December 21st last year. So this is a piece for Brother Hank Adams. What price to pay for the telling of our story? Do you know who stands with you in struggle? To speak of a man who stood with Martin Luther King Jr. for fishing rights in the Northwest waters, for the right to have food, the human right to have food. At Hank Adams' ancestors' home have done since the beginning of time. This is in the honor of a freedom fighter in unity with King's original Poor People's Campaign and Dick Gregory's stand with Adams in the fishing waters. You see, we could speak of allies, yet we must always speak of comrades in glorious struggle. Rest in power, Hank Adams. Thank you for all you've done, and thank you for your stand with Martin Luther King, as always. And fishing rights is environmental justice. We cannot forget that. And next up, I'll leave it to Brother Croilot to introduce the next one, because he does such a good job of it.
no doubt. I was a wonderful piece, brother, man. As always, man. Always good to hear you. You hear your words. Also, this brother here is also part of Bread is Rising, coming straight out of New York City. Carlos Raul Dufla, are you in with us,
That's right,
brother?
¿Cómo se va?
That's
Se va
That's
bien.
what's up. ¿Cómo tú estás? ¿Todo bien? Para adelante.
Yo estoy bien. ¿Cómo se va? Se va bien.
Ça va bien,
Todo
ça va
bien,
bien.
todo bien.
Para adelante, mi gente.
Well, I just wanted to say to all my brothers and sisters, which I love and I miss, standing. Oh,
Yep, yeah, you're fine.
I wrote this in reference to 53 years, to all these unsung heroes of the Poor People's Campaign, in which I was a part of, and I lived in Resurrection City. I just dedicated after all these years. It's often forgotten what is old is new again. After 5 decades after the brutal assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King and his Psalms for social justice for the poor, traditions remain unbroken, and every corner of the space glazing by the sun, watching the mass of food insecurity, millions of people have lost their very livelihood. Thousands have died in the downpour of this modern plague that surrounds this moment of time. Total madness has bursted on this country from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Freedom must speak from the poison which rose from the air. We must struggle to save the people from mass eviction, save the people from the sickness of the people with a poisoned mind. Remembering Marvin Gaye when he said, brother, brother, how many brothers are dying? So many of you are dying. And mother, mother, why are you crying? But we must find love to conquer hate. As Dr. Martin Luther King said, where do we go from here? Straightforward, straightforward. But we must unite and remember that history does repeat itself. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, man. As always, man. He said freedom must speak from the poison in the air. And we already know what's going on out there right now. You know, us, getting, doing this right here, this Zoom live, not being able to see each other physically. This whole virus situation put us in havoc right now, but it won't stop us. It can't stop us. So we're just going to continue to do what we do best. So let's get it going. And the next brother coming up right now, this brother right here, he said he's a lover of justice and human rights. He's a rad poet, bookseller, minister, and educator, the Baltimore native who became enthralled with spoken word poetry while living in New Haven, is the host of the Baltimore venue, Red Iman's Mother Earth Poetry Vibe, the author of Somewhere Through the Haze and the forthcoming album A Couple Thousand Years Later, and is a member of Simply Poetic Entertainment and Restoration Village Art. Without further ado, y'all, let me let y'all hear Mr. Analysis.
Thank you, my brother Qualo, and thank you, everybody. It's good to be here. As Qualo just said, Baltimore is home and where I am back living. However, it is always an honor and a pleasure to come back up the way to New Haven, even if that means electronically right now, and return to this tribute to Zannette Lewis. Thank you, Yale Peabody, and thank you for the entire team. I was just telling somebody the other week that unfortunately I never had the opportunity to meet Zannette, but I feel as though through the way Ngoma speaks of her and the way so many of you that knew her speak of her, as if I do actually know her and that she is here in spirit. And that is a beautiful thing. That's an important part of history, a real history. Unfortunately, the knucklehead in the White House the past few years tries to pretend to know history, and he really does not. He really should stay out of it. You remember, I'm sure, a few years ago when he said over a series of statements, and I quote, "Had Andrew Jackson been a little bit later, you wouldn't have had the Civil War." He was a very tough person, but he had a big heart. Why was there the Civil War? Why could that one not have been worked out? End quote. Sweet Jesus. They say a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. You, sir, have such precious little that your imbecility is an existential threat. Your behavior like that of a petulant child with dangerous toys in your possession and caretakers that cater to your every world-threatening whim. This gullible country put the mic in your hand, and now we have to suffer a fool. Letting you comment on the past is like letting a fiend into a pharmacy to pass out prescriptions of pernicious opinions. Now everyone has to overdose on dumb shit. At least your predecessor was more smooth, not unlike Jefferson, or indeed your idol. They all said nice things while stabbing nations in the back. You, however, just overrun us with overt insults to our intelligence. We need a wall built around your mouth to protect us from your invasion of ignorance and to send all of this bull back to the shithole mindset it came from. Why could that one not have been worked out? Exactly how is it going to be avoided, 45? How? You ain't got all the answers. Hell, you don't even have the right questions. I ask you exactly what was going to be worked out. Clearly not the breaking of bondage. No, that was a deal breaker to his business plan and yours. What we got was the life worked out of our lungs, the blood worked out of our veins. We worked in a living hell, and the fact that we still live at all is testimony to our resiliency, not to the benevolence of any great white father, including the seventh. Andrew would have been just another stonewall against my ancestors' abolition. In the Union he maintained, greed joined guns to guarantee his personal gain. No wonder you like him so much. You deal with human beings as if they were mere chips in the casinos you build with exploited labor, speculating in land and lives just as your hero did. Long after the war of northern aggression, your family succeeded in aggressive housing practices that forced families to secede. You sit in your lofty towers, but for many, this country is more of a holding pen than a hermitage, and you don't have to be on top of the smokies to see the tracks of their tears. They form a trail. From displaced to disenfranchised, from murdered to impoverished, from corralled to allocated false freedom. Why was there the Civil War? Look, let's roll away the old hickory smoke screen. Obviously, you long for those antebellum days. I bet you and your supremacist surrogates would love to make America great again with the peculiar institution, recapturing that time like your role model recaptured runaways. Thus, there's nothing peculiar about your repression of wages, your ripoff of workers. Back then, they used bayonets and bullets breech-loaded. Where it is, you renege on your contracts. They're breached. Loaded with lies like your tiresome tweets, gloated upon while you live like a leech, bloated on the blood of the poor. How very presidential of you. Just like your boy. You say of him, he was a very tough person, but he had a big heart. See, all this whimsical whitewashing of history books this type of brainlessness and belies your ever having studied a more thorough syllabus. Your foolish forays into the past are like colonizing hands grabbing the pussy of my mother Africa, and thus King Leopold's ghost still haunts me. Our greatness came before Columbus, but these attempts at the destruction of black civilization have us wanting to feel the warmth of other suns. The price for our pound of flesh is disregarded because the half has never been told of how this country's comfort is constructed on the cruelty inflicted upon people of color. I think it's time the hotel magnate learned from the innskeep, because Jackson Land wasn't any Mar-a-Lago. So fuck the lies your teacher told you. You need a people's history of the United States in which the souls of black folk are celebrated and the hearts buried at Wounded Knee are revered. Now, just as then, the demonic belief in divine white privilege drives the degradation of those you deem beneath you. But understand that we carry the divine within us too, and be not deceived. Gods are not mocked. Are you prepared to reap what your arrogance sows? The brass of your trumpet, so full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, must be silenced. And the only Jacksons I want to see are the trillions of 20s my people are owed in reparations. You ask, why was there the Civil War? Shit. You better ask yourself if you're going to cause the next one. Historiography. I'm known as Analysis. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Find me at Analysis the Poet on something or another so I can tell you about events and product. But more importantly, please everyone stay safe and let us keep our hand to the plow, as I know Zannette would, as I know Martin would, because we have a lot of work to do we not? Ashe Zannette, Ashe Martin. God bless you all.
Wow, man, that was woo. My man broke down the whole history and you utilizing all the presidents of the United States murdering y'all, man. Wow, that was thank you, Analysis, for this one. Definitely. We're gonna continue this real quick for you guys. The next poet up is a sister. Love this sister. This sister says she is a lover and a revolutionary, lover of life, people, community, and the arts, a walking interpretation of revolutionary love. Give it up for you, for this sister right here, y'all. Let's make it work. Let's make it happen. Tashala, let's do this.
Hey. What's going on? I'm so grateful to
Peace.
be here. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share these two pieces with you all. I hope you enjoy. They're called Sunrise and I Am Tashala. Sunrise. The sun is shining. Even if it wasn't, I'd still be smiling. Air moves through my body. I feel I am present. Gracious for the opportunity, anxious to speak, make you move around in your seat. I am assigned to speak evaluations to your mind. Question your actions against the instruction of your heart. Disruption is the purpose of art. Celebration can also be achieved, yet it is the truth that confrontation conceives. So I be loud, rambunctious unctions to your mind's mental functions. You so accustomed to not speaking that your soul won't jump when injustice leaks and seeps, sending blood up from the concrete. Your fight too discreet, your body too glued to your seat. Your lack of movement equates defeat. Your eyes scream no surprise at the crime in New Haven streets. You too damn comfortable with the children not creating. You social media loud, but I never peep your face in any crowd. You black and proud till the lights go out. Then you male bashing the bro, body shaming Lizzo, avoiding your baby mama and lifting old sheets off the black mamba, obtaining platforms just to succumb to the norm. You own a network, but I never hear revolution in your work. And some churches that's down gotta fly flags and post signs so folks know God's love is still around. Let me tell you the truth. I love you. So I'ma fight you and shake you, but won't let no system break you. I'll chastise you in private and praise you in public, and whatever comes against you, I will knock if it buck. I am the daughter of revolution, telling you that our solution is love. Love so strong, you won't let nothing treat what you love wrong. No matter how big, well-funded, or great, if you coming for the people, then destruction is your fate. We are the people's army, and it's already too late. But if the alarm is going off, who's heeding the warning? I see real hitters be swarming. Gifted teachers are mentally arming. Healers are chakra and crystal charging. That beating in your ears is the war drums calling. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? We are warriors. There are no doors. There are no ceilings, and there are no floors. Melanin be your wings, so soar. You see? The sun is shining. Even if it wasn't, I'd still be smiling. Because all I see are my people. Right.
Get them, get them, get them. They're not ready. You said? Tashala, you said you had another piece for us? Looks like.
This last piece is a tribute. My name is Tashala. I was born in 1974. My uncle gave me my name after the Black Panther. So this is a tribute poem, and it is called I Am Tashala. I am Tashala. I am not dead. Words still cleave to my chest. Verbs and adjectives like a bulletproof vest. Rage giving my heart a full court press. Life effervescent, the crown and nothing less. I am not dead. I be the head, never the tail. Bloodline will always prevail. My uncle gave me this name, and I knew it wasn't a game. My mother gave me her fire. My grandmother gave me her venom. And I stay spitting that hot cataclysmic straight shit like you ain't never heard it. My father gave me his strength. My grandfather gave me his wisdom, and they all planted love in every crevice of my bosom. Vengeance of the ancestors be the fortitude of my bones. Injustice I can't condone. able to call this home. So I stomp out love songs from where I boldly stand, reverberating vibrations all the way to the motherland. She hears and responds in hurricane, a clear path marking her lane, karma to her traffickers, pale thieves of Mother Africa. And yet energy does not die. It transfers from the source to the seed. Mama giving you what you need. May you hold it for ransom, with the only payment being liberation personified. Ancestors never died, they just flied so we could ride. May the energy of those in the wind ignite the imagination within. Fight the good fight. Keep that angle on your plight. Shine like the brightest star and remember who you are. Peace.
Tashala just brought the heat, yo. That was, whew. What? What? Man, that was just a lot right there. I don't think they understood that. That Black Panther definitely came out of you, Tashala. That Black Panther came out for real tonight. They're not ready for that one. All right, y'all. Let's keep it moving. Let's make it work. So our next poet up, she pretty much is an environmental educator, a community advocate, utilizes poetry as a vehicle to beautifully convey social and environmental injustice, y'all. Let's give it up and let's pretty much start. Man, you're gonna hear some of this heat right now. Let's give it up to her. Yex, are you here? Are you in the house with us, Yex?
Peace. Can you hear me?
I know you coming to bring the heat. I already know. They're not ready for you, sister. Let's do it.
Peace. Can you hear me just fine?
For sure. I could hear you.
Oh, peace to everybody. I'm happy to be here. It's always an honor. Again, my name is Yex. I am a Chicago native, but I am a New Haven resident. And I have two pieces for y'all before I get out of your hair. And this first piece is called Can You Taste It? What if I told you Jesus showed up on my doorstep in a pair of Converse and a Kango to converse about the earth being mangled? He listened to me spout over cups of tea as I untangled his locks, tongue tied in knots. I called him Chris in lieu of Christ as to cross my T before they dotted his I, skewed images and accounts faked, replaced with Judas. No one would believe it was he who was really skewered to the stake. Isa was never crucified. I washed his feet as he turned water to wine and consoled me as I whined about the state of our people. Feeble-minded Negroes who lost more than just their deeds to 40 acres and a mule. Surrendering our future to the prison pipeline every time we abandon our youth in these whitewashed schools. Hip-hop is our only culture and they stole that too. So I sit Indian style with indigenous shamans and soothsayers who have been deemed rhinos and fools, removing their teeth, making room for gems dropped every time they speak. I am their diamond in the rough. Uncut, impossible to be thrown under the bus. It is only 200 or so years old. My soul is ancient. I finally got the guts to post up on the corner, turning it into a pulpit, yelling, ain't shit sweet coming from where I'm from. Not even sugar, honey, iced tea. They've made sustenance a drug. Like on my block, Cinderellas who can't afford glass slippers smoke out of glass pipes instead, where scorned mothers and lovers teach men how to make a park bench a bed, where the Black Madonna and child are referred to as baby mama and bastard. Reality is bass backwards. Politicians posing as puppets, masterminds. Racists use our cities as their own personal coloring books, drawing outside of lines, as if our streets aren't already rivers running red, something like Venice. Blood flows out of exit wounds that never heal from young bulls marked like veal as soon as they exit the womb. Who's really pulling the strings? I've watched angels fall with broken wings, becoming marionette dolls as demons smoke their dust, praising monetary illusions in God we trust. That blindfolded lady holds an unbalanced scale. She is neither fair nor just. In my hood, pigs don't fly. They walk upright. beating deities in broad day for simply being as quiet bystanders watch like a play on Broadway. I've seen this act one, two, many times. Violators of ghetto idols, later to be exonerated by a jury of their peers. Those who claim neutrality in the face of injustice have chosen the side of the oppressor. Privileged transgressors, all they see is green. I warn my brothers not to accept the fake peace offering. One last smoke before being choked or chopped on a block, undertaking the guillotine. Rats who aren't afraid to die, tapping wires. Lies told through grapevines. Red and blue make purple. Double-headed snakes play both sides. I see dead homies' faces hanging from shoelaces on telephone lines. So we pour out libations like our ancestors in commemoration. Sisters don't choose gangsters because we prefer bad boys. Rather, they purposefully liken our men to African warriors. It's all a ploy. Kids walk around with balled fists because the streets are hot, their hearts are cold, stomachs empty. Those who live to eat will become carnivorous eventually. Cannibalism tempting. The meek shall inherit the earth only after the rich have raped it. And when there is nothing left, the poor will feed off the rapist. Can you taste it? Thank you.
That was just like mind blowing right there, man. She said pigs don't walk. Yo, she said pigs walk. They walk upright. Privileged transgressors. Wow. Keep it moving. Come on.
It.
Bring it.
Appreciate it. This next piece is an open letter to my daughter, who just turned 15 yesterday, and it is called Skipping Stones. I wrote an article the other day about a Black toddler named Darnell Gray who had gone missing, during which the local police department justified why he wasn't worthy of an Amber Alert. This is an open letter to my daughter. Dear Syra, I should have named you Amber just in case. I should have named you Amber because Black children always fit the description but never the criteria. God forbid you disappear. Maybe they'd be as quick to put your face on the back of chocolate milk cartons as they are when they place you in handcuffs, or in cop cars, or in jail cells, or in graveyards, or in boxes with check marks that they use to marginalize, stained Black ink on white paper with no drawn lines. I should have named you Amber because a ghetto-sounding name could be the link between what distinguishes one as missing versus a runaway. White children go missing, slaves run away, Black boys can't whistle, white girls tell white lies, Jim Crow got your tongue while George Stinney fries. I should have named you Amber so that when you speak, you don't have to repeat yourself. Sorry to bother, it's Syra, not Cyrus. Sorry to bother, it's Sergi, not Sarah. Spirit of forefathers, it was Kunta, never Toby. Syra. Sigh like science, like the only Black that matters to them, the one in outer space. Sigh like science, if only they'd realize a carbon copy galaxy freckled upon your face. Ra, like sun god. See, I should have named you Amber, but I named you Syra instead because I knew your locks would begin where namesake ends. And if I would have named you Amber, they would have renamed you Medusa. They dread little Black girls with magical powers, like Latasha Harlins and Ayanna Jones and India Kager and Nia Wilson and Sandra Parks. Oh, children of the ghetto, you should have all been named Amber because they're white physicians without borders or boundaries or morals or humanity, butchering Black names and Black babies. Melanin still goes for $3.50 a gram. Do it for the gram. I ain't gonna do it. Don't do it. It's a sham. You've been bamboozled. Worth more dead than alive, hoodwinked. I should have named you Amber so that when you interview for positions, you don't feel a need to straighten out your kinks. And when you show up for work, you can really arrive because shrinking yourself to fit European beauty standards could kill you spiritually inside. Maybe I shouldn't have named you Amber. Maybe I should have named you A, B, C, D, E, so the entire world knows you come first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and not just a fraction of that. And you wouldn't have to unscrew caps on fifths of Hennessy to look for fractured fragments of yourself because your biggest riff with life is TSA making fun of your name. Shoot, even I could pronounce it. Absidy, hands up, don't shoot. The caucasity of you to judge them by their names. I should have named you Amber, but you are much more precious than a stone. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Whew. Whew. This is what we missing, y'all. Man, I know this is virtual, but man, only if we had this physically, you know. Oh man, this is what I'm talking about. Straight heat. I don't know about the amber. I don't know if I would ever want to. I don't know the amber part. I don't know. It's crazy. In any case, y'all, let's keep it moving for our next poet up. This person right here grew up in Bridgeport. This beautiful sister right here grew up in Bridgeport. She's been writing poetry for the most, pretty much for all her life. She said, I was first introduced to spoken word in person in 2013 and have been in love with it ever since. Let's bring it up. Let's bring up Jessica. Is Jessica's around? Jessica in here in the house?
Yep, I'm here. Peace.
Let's go. Peace. Nice to see you, sister.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Let's bring it.
Word. So I have 2 pieces today, pretty short pieces. The first one is called How Dare You? And it's an open letter to America. To whom it may concern. I am writing to you today to let you know that you are a disgrace. You claim to stand for liberty and justice for all, but now they're building walls. You were never great. You were born a thief, benefiting from stolen land and deceiving your bastard children into a false sense of patriotism. I will never salute you. A master manipulator since you arrived, turning his story into your story. Home of the brave and the land of the free. How dare you? How dare you set us up for failure from day one, pumping us with poison since birth. First you vaccinate our babies, then eventually use the media to disenfranchise our worth. How dare you try to keep us distracted with reality shows and fake Hollywood hoes so we won't care that GMOs are poisoning our planet. Mother Nature's crying, damn it. But will the acidic tears she cries wash away the blood of lost Chicago lives? Will her silent sobs reunite immigrant families or fix Flint's water pipes? How dare you expect me to respect the stars and stripes? America, how dare you turn your back on our brothers and sisters whose faith teaches love? When we see praying 5 times a day, but all you see is bombs away, I think it's you we need to get rid of. How dare you let our government be run on social media, where callous thumbs are causing chaos and there's never real words, only little blue birds. This can't be real fucking life. How dare you want our children to look at chemtrails and call them clouds? And how dare you try to tell us collecting rainwater is not allowed? How dare you keep lying that planes brought down the Twin Towers? And how dare you try to suppress Dr. Sebi's healing powers? How dare you try to dumb down our children's education? We know you don't want them at the top. How dare you give us whack rhymes and tight jeans and call it hip hop? But the cycle will stop. Because don't you dare think more people aren't being woke every day. And don't you dare think revolution is very far away. Just imagine what millions of beautiful minds can create when we just take the path of all love and no hate. We're bonded by being the 99%. And we're unified by knowledge, man, fuck this government. And don't you dare think human rights are open to discuss. We're standing up for what's just, and I dare you to try to stop us. So as this letter is ending, this is our time to begin. Signed sincerely and unapologetic, un-American. Thank you.
Crazy. Rainwater. I remember that back in the islands growing up, you know, the rainwater. We used to collect that back in the islands. When I remember that, we had buckets filled with rainwater.
Yes, and now they tell us we can't collect rainwater. It comes from the sky. What are you talking about? Yep. Yep. And then the second piece I have is actually from the Scared of Us challenge that you started in the summertime. So shout out to Qualo for the Scared of Us challenge. So that's going to be my second piece. All right. They think it's a game. While this country is cosplaying Mortal Kombat with masks on, trying to, with masks on, trying to avoid fatality, there's still no protection from police brutality. After centuries of judicial mistrust, now they claim that they care, but Karen was ready to rage quit for a haircut. Black lives matter. And I'm not talking about all lives. I'm talking about the ones that continue to be scrutinized, murdered, and brutalized. White people. Let's stay on subject. The hate project reflects the racist you elect. And the officers you choose to serve and protect, they're serving death, forcing people to take their last breath while they're begging for their last breath. No justice, no peace. Just know that there will continue to be unrest until these pigs aren't obsessed with deadly arrests, until police stop pounding people at peaceful protests. No peace until these so-called good cops refuse to be mute, until you can have your hands in the air and they really won't shoot. No peace until they understand that this is not a game, until we never have to see #justice for another name. And there will be no peace until the evil are imprisoned and the righteous are released. Knowledge is power. Don't think that we don't know about this modern day COINTELPRO, infiltrators empowered to try to cower Black power. So when protesters encountered strategically placed bricks, it's reminiscent of the 80s crack epidemic. Hell yeah, they're scared. They're scared of Black love. They're scared of Black unity. They're scared of the Black dollar staying in the Black community. They're scared because the youth today are more vigilant than we were then. They're scared because once Black Wall Street's rebuilt, they can never destroy it again. They're scared of allies not willing to compromise. They're scared because the revolution might not be televised. They're scared because they have no idea what change is about to do. And they should be scared because no lives will matter until all Black lives do. Thank you.
Woo. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Damn. Okay. All right. I think they're scared of us. Yeah. I think they're scared of us. That's what's up. This next sister that we have coming up here, this sister, man, she's a teacher. You know, she's a mentor for me. You know, she's a powerhouse for me. She's a priestess. Man, there's no other way. You know, there's so many, you know, attributes, so many things you can say about this sister. Are you here with us, Osun? Are you here with us? Is Osun here with us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. What's going on? What's going on, sister?
Okay, everything. It's good to be here. Okay, so I have one piece that's very short and to the point.
Let's do it.
It's called African American Olympics. Hands up, down on the ground, bend your knees, hands behind your back, run past the wind, leap over trash cans, scale the fence, drop low, crawl beneath shots fired, duck behind that tree, climb brick walls, dodge the attacking police dogs, run, but you don't have a chance. Get to your knees, but your pleas will not be heard. You'd better jump up in protest. Use your pride to pole vault over the danger. Use your courage as a bulletproof vest. Go for the gold, but get silver bracelets as your reward. Get shot in midair. Your face meets the concrete, short of life's finish line.
Woo, you just broke it down.
Short and to the point. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Damn. Oh, man. As always, man. Always throwing the bomb at us. Throwing the bomb at us, sister. Always. All right. So without further ado, let's continue this open mic, y'all. That was loaded. I would like, oh man, that was just heavy and loaded. This brother right here says he's an owner of the Third Eye Studio LLC. He's a poet, author, speaker, activist, and friend. Third Eye Studio. James Black, where you at, brother?
Word, I'm right here, man. Peace, everyone.
What's up? Peace. Let's bring the heat. Let's continue to keep the fire burning.
Yeah, let's do this. James Black, born and raised in Jamaica. I have 2 short poems to share with you. Let's go. The first one is to all the warriors, to all the ones who be fighting. It's called The Pugilist. There's a place most bounteous, where milk and honey lay. There the purse is fat and bursting, fraught with frolic and play. Here flowers bloom, day and night, no shout of doom and gloom. The sky is never falling and never want of room. Not a care for want or need, or ever the ill called greed, but like any tree, one must first plant, ridding self of reeds. Like the pugilist, one must fight, denying fleeting fancy, for in the ring, one must be fit, lest you fare a pansy. Move with stealth in this ring of wealth, mind and body quick, lest your favor slip, use your wit, or pay dearly with your health. Be the staunchy boxer, eyes fixed on the prize, for there's enough glory to be wrenched. First, learn how to clench. And the second poem is for all the beautiful women out there who...
Brother, man, let me just marinate on that. Brother, you just threw, you just threw that heavy load and you ain't let us marinate a little bit.
Oh, my humblest apologies.
Right. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Second piece. Let's get it.
Second piece is for those beautiful women. We know many homes are without fathers for whatever reason, but I've come to understand that there's a lot of power and might in women, starting from my mom. She was a single mom. Many of my aunts were single mothers, and there are just a lot of single mothers out there who are holding it down. And I just want to give them some love with this poem, That Woman. There's a woman in the veil of life, problems are rife, replete with need, moving from shadow to shadow, from day to night. In the wake of sleep, she wakes and sees only light, burdens in tow. There's a woman in the sand who seems to be sinking in our thinking, back arched and sun-parched, every grain of energy used. The dunes of her fortune never seem to change, but for wind that assails. There is a woman who softly smiles, a hallelujah child. She plants lilies in valleys and lifts weight off shoulders. Prayer is her way, and for you, a better day. She seeks darkness just to light candles. Hallelujah woman sits sifting, your name a lifting. Your joy is her blessing, and of course, her praising him. For she has seen the light, her heart skips and hides from glory. Hallelujah woman, a true love story. Thank you everyone, shalom, peace be to you all.
Thank you, brother, man. Definitely. Peace, man.
You're most
That was
welcome.
beautiful. That was wonderful, man. That was peace. I'm seeing all the comments being thrown out there. Everyone is loving the pieces. Love it. We're almost at the end right here. Everyone, we want to say thank you for everyone who's been tuning in to the 25th annual Martin Luther King, Environment and Social Justice Poetry Jam, live and direct, coming to you straight through Zoom. and I'm the host again, Croilot. And so last but not least, we'd like to bring out this brother right here. I know for a long time, fellow Haitian brother, fellow Haitian poet that I know. His one-liner pretty much is, God is a single mother. Without further ado, you're going to be listening to Bob Bidon. Where you at, brother? Where you at? I can't hear you. Tune in your, you're on silent. You're still on silent. Okay.
I'm on mute.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
All right.
What's
up? What's up? Got some great poets up here, man. Awesome people. I'm proud to be. Thank you for inviting me, Croilot, to this Sakafet Nula, Aitina Kaila. All right. Okay, analysis, man. Dope brother too, man. I just featured at his joint with Red Emmas. It was dope. So without further ado, I know we don't have much time. So my poetry be digging me deep, like a cemetery full of crossfire victims. A thriller's casket draped on a Harlem stage, my words are the torn pages of a thug's diary tattooed on the bullet pulling the trigger. A suicide's last confession tucked in a prisoner's empty commissary, my poetry be like puffy coats. Ripped at the seams and screams of exposed cotton, it be shopping carts filled with 5-cent deposits. A hidden sun in the projects carjacked by trench coat tenements like graffiti blueprints. Blood-stained RIPs that come from where police see IDs, the innocent cop pleads, prostitutes, and HIV, my poetry bleed deep soil. Deep rooted in the teeth of my lungs, exhale from my bones through the skeleton of my tongue like a good spliff. Puff that shit. Give it till it stick like hot grits on a burning stoves, singing the song, singing the stench of a soul song found in the Los Angeles motel crying rivers, a blind man's song to Georgia, oh, that sweet, sweet song, don't weep till I'm gone. Deep like broken home hostels, boarded windows, and gas stoves in the winter where the pipes froze, it goes even deeper than where cab drivers had no desires to roam, where ET would not phone like alcohol and styrofoam, my poetry's for the blood fist. Grind this anger on sheetrocks where mothers tell their kids to kick rocks, grown hands creep where the cradle rocks for those young stumbling blocks. My poetry is an R&B plane crash where a heart smash August 25th. It's September 11th. It's August 23rd when Noah's Ark didn't park and the waters didn't part. It's Basquiat's art asking for FEMA to have a heart for those who talk dirty after dark, where the dogs bark. White teas, bad habits, and anger meets liquor for dead homies, asking for hope to hold me, wanting to dance with my father again. It's daddy's little girl who means the world, but in his world, he cannot fathom the pocket change, the chance to change to make him a better man that she calls dad. It's his broken self-esteem. Sometimes it lets off steam, know what I mean? It's buried in me. Those stories, those run-on nightmares trying to capture that still life motion, these pictures mold these atoms, put God first so real words can unite to ignite verbs. Quench your thirst, move the engine of your character, rewind, edit the epics of our chapters into narratives. Unmute my pen. My poetry was found, overdosed in a bathtub at a Beverly Hills Hilton Hotel, looking for his broken heart. Head slouched, arms dangling over ceramic, slim frame, beautiful brown vines, fire and desire all cried out, a million tears drowned in abandonment, beaten to sleep. Its casket draped on a Harlem stage as the veil of the curtain closes in the baritone voice of peace, love, and soul.
Bring it, ball, bring it.
Y'all feel a lot? All right, this piece right here, actually I was in this production in Brooklyn. Production started at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy. It started at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's Easter. And I had the privilege of on playing Jesus in the production. It was called The Resurrection, written by Kenya Cagle and directed by Michelle. Well, one of the people in the production actually was a director as well. So she had a production going and she wanted me to write this poem. So I use this poem as I use this opportunity as an excuse to do a tribute to Muhammad Ali, like a butterfly. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's why they call me Muhammad Ali. I'm pretty, I look good, fist made of steel, hit harder than a railroad train, sling these gloves faster than Superman and Clint Eastwood. Rumble, black man, rumble. Tumble, black men, they tumble. On the street selling cigarettes, or on the playground, sitting in a car by his lady on his grandma's backyard. Black man can't dodge no bullets, duck no racism. Black man can't dodge no bullets, duck no racism, can never get no break. In his workplace, on the highway, can even peacefully sit in a coffee shop without the police coming in to arrest him. Rumble, black man, rumble. Tumble, black men, they tumble. Stumble, oh, black women, they stumble. In a Waffle House, violated and exposed from her clothes on the internet with all her business out. She's the most disrespected person on the planet, dragged like a dog in a swimsuit in a classroom, found dead in jail cell for a traffic stop, called a gorilla, even if she's the first lady. And have you ever seen that beautiful black woman, intelligent, sophisticated, elegant, upgrade her husband into president? Rumble, black man, rumble. Keep your head up. This world ain't no featherweight. It can be mean, heavy on your back. Cause you can't go nowhere without being judged, racially profiled, stopped and frisked for no reason, have strange hands in your private neighborhood gentrified. They made public transportation too high to avoid a ride. That's how they keep you in your place. Tumble, black men, they tumble. Since when was a protest disrespecting the flag? Black man can't play no baseball, no football, because he took a knee against injustice. I was stripped of my gold medal, passport taken away, sentenced to 5 years in prison because I ain't go to no Vietnam, and I'll do another 5 years behind bar, continue to speak up and speak out until justice finally helps my people out. Rumble, black man, rumble. Be there for your woman, love and protect her. Be a good provider, raise your children, show your daughters what a good man look like, raise your sons to be men, show them unconditional love. Be there like a father should be, even if they ain't what you want them to be. Teach them self-love, raise them to be strong so that they too can float like a butterfly and sing like a bee and sling like a bee and sting like a bee, just like me, the greatest of all times, Muhammad Ali. Thank you.
Yo, that was crazy, bro. You almost kind of sounded like him for a minute. If I wasn't looking at you, I would have been like, all right.
Oh, you would have thought that I was Muhammad Ali.
Almost had me, brother. Almost had me. But you know, thank you for all the brothers and sisters who spit on the open mic tonight, man. This was off the chain, man. I appreciate every word, you know, and also your time. The heat, the fire must continue and must continue to burn, because we have some pretty hot futures coming up live for you. But even before that, we also have this brother that we all know, we all love to love and love to love. This brother's a powerhouse. This brother is my mentor. This brother pretty much, you know, he's the one that always brings the heat when you just don't expect to hear the heat. He just keeps bringing it and bringing it. Man, he's not just a poet. I mean, this brother right here, I don't know. Sometimes I ask myself, what instrument don't you play, brother? He plays all types of instruments. But in any case, this brother's supposed to be coming up here to pretty much, you know, do a selection for our sister who made this possible for us, you know, Zannette Lewis. Brother Ngoma, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I don't think they ready.
Watu usi tayari. Black people are always ready.
For sure.
So, yeah, I'm really glad to be able to do this. This is the 25th Dr. Martin Luther King Festival of Environmental and Social Justice. And instead of a slam, we're having a jam. And this is like a tribute to Zannette Lewis, because Zannette was the one that started this whole thing. It was her idea to have a slam to represent Dr. Martin Luther King in his speech making and whatnot. And so we give her a tribute to this. And I'm just gonna kick it because I got about 3 or 4 little pieces I'm gonna try to get done right quick. Yeah, so this first instrument that I'm gonna use is called a yidaki, or which is commonly known as a didgeridoo. And Zannette was responsible for me playing this. I went to an event and I heard a recording of it, and I asked the guy, I said, what is that? What instrument is that? So he let me look at it, and I found out it was a didgeridoo. And then I went and found one, and the rest is history. We say that it opens chakras. It brings in the positive energy. And we're gonna start out with it, as I've always started out with it for the festival, to start out for Dr. King. This first poem is called A Poem for My Egun. In the Yoruba culture, an Egun is an ancestor. We don't just call people out because of the fact that they died, because everybody died, but we mention those that have made significant contributions during the time that they were alive. This is a poem for my Egun. For Pauline and James, Carrie and Linwood, Celestine and Herman. For Zannette Lewis. For nameless Egun lost in the middle passage, strange fruit from Dixie's trees. Memory whiplashed in the name of Jesus. You will never be forgotten. Pickers of tobacco and cotton. Ditch diggers, gardeners, field hands and bricklayers. Carpenters and dishwashers, waiters and chambermaids, hospital orderlies and workers with no unions, victims of 21st century slavery, for the homeless, the hungry, and the dispossessed, begging on subways, sleeping on sidewalks, chained and locked up, for new African freedom fighters locked down behind the wall, never to see the light of day, for the down-pressed with no redress, for the jelly and the griot, for the invisible ones, for the sons and daughters of Africa, Haiti, Cuba, Brazil, Puerto Rico. In every port the slave ships landed, fear not. I chant this incantation for you. O Eshu, O Batala, O Shun, Ifa, Shango, Ogun, Oya, Yemoya. Please carry these prayers to Olodumare. We bring snail and she-goat, pigeons, rooster, guinea fowl, and yam, palm oil, sugarcane, lamb, and rum, never forgetting where we've come from. We bring catfish, honey, and salt, bitter cola, shea butter, and gin. We fling pennies into the wind. We pray this oppression will end. We come to take a stand and free the land. United and without fear, we come to take back what is ours. We come for the future. We won't forget the past. There's a trail of bones in the Atlantic deep. We come demanding retribution, for Ifa never sleeps. Ifa never sleeps. never sleeps. So this next poem was a poem that I wrote for the very first Dr. Martin Luther King Festival of Environmental Justice. And since this is the 25th year, I thought that I would definitely do this poem. So it's called Environmental Justice, a Drum and Poetry Perspective. It was written for Ennis Cosby, killed by one bullet to the head. Fling libations to the four directions, ask guardian angels for protection. One more life, one more brother gone, never to see the break of dawn. One more Jesus crucified in a world where children die. Cracked vials, nines blast, someday all this too shall pass. Piss in hallways and broken glass, garbage on the steps and all that jazz. What's ecology to me? 40s, blunts and PCP, racism, killer cops, drive-bys and disease, unwanted babies with HIV. Oh, you think I should worry about oil spills, illegal dumping, fugitive dust, asthma and other deadly ills, asbestos and lead, cancer and TB. But it's mostly poverty and ignorance that's killing me. You be worried about ebonics versus phonics. The real problem be economics, cause poverty sucks in any language, English, Japanese, or Spanglish. So call whoever is in charge, call the president at large. Raise your voice to the most high, whatever it is that gets you by. But a dollar bill is hardly worth a pile of dust, but the inscription says, in God we trust. Well, we trusted welfare and social security, unemployment insurance and ADC. All we get is corporate greed, the factories closed, went overseas, and I'm homeless in a shelter and the weather's freezing. Standing here in a soup line, begging for a dime for a bottle of wine. So much for urban ecology. This show ain't no mystery. All we need is peace, love, justice, and equality. Peace, love, justice, and equality. Peace, love, justice, and equality. Yeah, peace, love, justice, and equality. Love, justice, and equality, yeah. Where were you when the king of love was killed? April 4th, 1968, the trigger pulled, the bullet cried at 6:01. Heartbeat ceased at 7:05. Lorraine was the woman scorned. It was Bluff City, the place that Elvis ruined. St. Joseph could not save him. The evil was not bluffing. The digits were against him. The math total equals 6. The number for sacrifice, the number for caring, the number for healing, the number for teaching others, the number for protection, but he left his juju home. Peace and harmony forsake him. Conspiracy completed. The bullet was no love letter. Destiny with his appointment to protest inequality incinerated. Garbage men and their mothers mourned with the rest of the world. A young draftee, I was in the barracks looking at my reflection in newly spit-shined boots, pondering how soon I might get sent to Nam when the news broke on the radio. A redneck muttered under his breath, "Good, the nigga's dead." It was at Fort Pricks, AKA Fort Dix, when the lights went out and the riot started. I don't remember how long it took for the MPs to break it up. The next day's training was how to quell mob violence. I stood firm with the brothers who resisted and decided not to go. So this last poem is called Things Fall Apart. So each year, I've been reading a poem which was like the poem for the year. It's usually a poem that nobody's heard before. This is first time. This is called Things Fall Apart. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. It's more than a nursery rhyme. I thought it was a dream until waking up to the reality that things are falling apart. It seems there's an alternative universe as America implodes on itself. Excuse me, but I told you so seems appropriate as predictions shift into reality. There's 25,000 troops camped on the White House lawn. But how do we know if they're all on the same page? Or if it's true that militias, cops, and Klan go hand in hand? After all, somebody knew. There's a maze underneath the Capitol. It was known that the megas were coming, but no one was called for help. So I'd say there's something rotten, and this ain't Denmark. Could this be karma? Or is this the newest banana republic? Is this the beginning of a civil war? Or will the earth open up and swallow the Philistines that came to hang the Congress? After all, this was started with Lincoln, so it sure won't go away with impeachment. The termites are out of the woodwork, and Jim Crow is in style. Yeah. So, just a little something for y'all. A little tribute to Zannette, a little poetry. After all, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be doing this. So, thanks to Yale, and Dr. Martin Luther King Festival of Environmental and Social Justice. Thanks to David Heiser. We got 6 other poets that are gonna rock. Yeah. This first one is a sister by the name of Lyvonne Proverbs. She's an Emmy Award winner. She's a New York City native. She's a prolific poet, writer, preacher, transformational speaker, and spiritual life coach. Proverbs is the founder of Beautiful Scars, an online storytelling agency and boutique consulting firm focused on fostering pleasure and resiliency. So, are you there?
Yes, beloved one.
Aha.
How you doing? How you feeling? Gorgeous. This land is your land, this land's not my land. From California to Coney Island, from 125th Street to here at MLK. This land was made for you, not me. I was born in Midtown Manhattan, New York City, an island quite unlike my mother's own of Barbados, where there were no mangers in her nativity scene, but there were azure waters lapping at her knees, smooth sand softening her feet, and a bright sun that kissed her face as if she were prodigal being finally home and free. And me, the fruit of her womb, which would make me the granddaughter of the brightest star in the galaxy, but you would never know my works, never placed on the lowest rung of the ladder of society by the powers that be, AKA white men who think phallically and operate scandalously, forcing me to live marginally unless I change my name, adopt their religion, become a shell of my former self, living vicariously through me. How could this be? It's because I write for those that exist in the borders. I raise and bump fists in the hopes that razors don't slit wrists. I stand in solidarity for and with women from Brazil to Ghana and Cambodian nations, those struggling to hold on to their souls' incantations, surviving on modern day plantations in America, where a woman gets jailed for killing her sex traffickers. In America, where white folks get madder for being called racist than the fact that racism actually exists. In America, where contrary to popular belief, Jim Crow ain't dead, we simply replace toxic drugs for Venus Hottentot and pop rap in Willie Lynch's stead. And so I spit to release all the mental shackles from my sisters' heads. This is for Kia and Kenya, Kiana and Katrina, whose hurricane broke more than Nolan's Levy's. She's daily surviving woman slaughter in the 3rd degree. Today, I have to choose between being present for my kids or going up north to serve a bid, because it doesn't matter what I do when it's all illegal activity, when I'm just trying to keep food on the table, trying to salvage a lifestyle that's stable. If only the land of the free were better able to make me more brave. What do you do when your very existence is a burden? There is a war raging all around me, and the bloodshed that isn't televised is still very present in the tears that fall from my eyes. So I will fight this daily battle. Like Rahab, I will straddle borders and boundaries, speeches and promises, because my word is my bond, and my bond is my daughter and my son. So like murder and red rum in the mirror, you best take a look at yourself to get your vision clearer. Because as for me and my house, we will serve the Creator. And the only question that I have is, are you for me or against me? Don't let the pretty face and sweet disposition deceive you. I am a tsunami wrapped up in a tornado, buttoned down in a torrential downpour. Either you're on my team or you're gonna get floored. This is a war cry for women all across the globe. Keep your hand to hat and heart to sky, because your redemption is coming, sister. I assure you, quickly, swiftly, in the blink of an eye. Hey. Y'all got me in the chat box. Y'all got me. I was like, oh, somebody's typing to me. What's going on, MLK Poetry Jam? It is so amazing to be in this space tonight. I know that we would give many things, not all things, but some things, to be able to hug and give dap and share space. So I consider it a great honor to be here. This is taking me back, y'all, when I was a grad student at Yale, and y'all had me driving up and down 95, Bridgeport, New Haven, you know, we were just out here. And so it feels good to be in this mix, in this energy again. Giving honor to our great foremother who has gone before us and who is certainly here with us in spirit. We give thanks, Ashe and amen. I am giving you Coretta Scott King meets Afrofuturism tonight because we are celebrating Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., but we can't celebrate him without honoring her, okay? Without representing the ladies and the femmes in the movement. So that piece is dedicated to my sisters in the struggle. I see you, I affirm you, we are out here. Let's get it popping. On my journey as a Black woman in this nation, particularly as the daughter of Caribbean immigrants, right? So shout out to all the Caribs in the space. When you think about British imperialism and colonialism, it adds just another layer, another nuance of ickiness, right? And so I remember growing up and my dad's sister, so my aunts, they started locking their hair. And as a teenager, I was still getting perms, still addicted to creamy crack out here. And they would be like, you know, that perm is eating out your hairline. I'm like, do you like my bangs or nah? Like, what do you, yes or no? So when I started to realize just how my beauty was being constructed by other people, this is an important journey for us to be on, just honoring our own beauty. So this is trend alert, trend alert. When did it become fashionable for Black women to hate themselves? For the very ancestors who sway in our hips and expand our chests to be relegated to nothingness in our own eyes, where we tell 7-year-old Tianas that their locks are unacceptable. I know that you don't want ropes piled atop my head, but you love them around our necks, estranging the diaspora from herself. For the sake of making us strangers in a strange land, easy targets to become strange fruit, lynched from our former glory, we hang swinging. As capitalist mobs dance at our feet, selling perms called African pride, shooting high fashion safari shoots with models from Sweden. You only think you're beautiful when you've got a $50 quick weave in. Don't you see, beloved, the joke is on us. We're the brunt, bearing the brunt of psychological murderers. When Christ-carrying colonizers rape us of our culture, missionary style, sociological predators who get off on seeing us hate us. Well, tonight, I'm Proud Mary. No longer willing to submit myself to your demonly wiles. I got good hair. Why? Because I got African in me. And no, it's not new growth. No need for extensions. Your coily kinks are an extension of your retention of Nubian nations. And they say genes skip a generation. So I guess that's how we were socialized to demonize everything divine about ourselves. And now we've internalized this oppression of those we idolize, smoking creamy crack pipes every 4 to 6 weeks. What would Goddess Isis say about your beauty? Our foremothers didn't give their lives so we could be trendy. We are classic, like Jill and Lettucey. We are timeless, like Black Leather Chucks. We are eternal, like the creator who knows the number of hairs on our heads. We are worthy and beautiful, like the ancestors who have carried us so far. You can see dust from their footprints blowing in the sand, built for tough, so strong, you don't stand on your feet, you fly with your back. Translucent wings protruding through shoulder blades that beat, not like in the club popping Molly, like the djembes chanting in Mali. Don't be deceived, friends. Everybody wants to be Black, but nobody wants to be Black. Everyone wants our culture, our essence, our swag, but these pilfering leeches want nothing to do with the plight of our people. In Georgia, 25% of children don't know where the next meal is coming from. Every month, 400 of our babies are bought and sold for sex. Even now, there are more Black men in jail than were enslaved in 1850. Tell me, does your dark and lovely box show you how to bring our fathers home? Does your flat iron wipe the tears of mothers mourning babies stolen by gun violence? Lace front wigs did not end slavery, Jim Crow, or institutional racism. Our elders did not endure whips and chains just so we could live at the corner of bitter and sweet, trapped in a vortex where sun-kissed skin is only valued if it comes in a spray can. When white women pay good money to get shots for what we have naturally. So tell me, when did it become fashionable for Black women to hate themselves? Because I've always loved to look good, but if it means making us look bad, I guess the only magazine cover I'll be on is in the radiant smile in my future daughter's eyes when she says, "Mommy, I want hair just like yours." Thank you. Now listen, I wear wigs now, y'all. Praise the Lord. So, but it's a part of my personality, my extension. It's a part of having fun. It's not that I need to wear this in order to feel beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Especially being in quarantine, you're not, caring for yourself the same way. It's not like you have that standing hair appointment or that nail appointment or right? You got to figure out new ways to love on yourself and lavish yourself with self-care and, your skincare regimen and how are you eating? Are you staying hydrated? Like these are the things that are so important as we take care of our body temples. So this next piece is called Cell Block Twins. Something that I preached about this morning is that when Dr. King was walking the earth, everything was all honky-dory when he was talking about peaceful protest, nonviolence, wear your suits, let's go march, sit at the counters, right? But as soon as Dr. King started talking about money, shots rang out. And so we cannot deny that the prison industrial complex is a huge moneymaker for this nation, that in fact, there are more Black men in jail than were enslaved in 1850. And so Ava DuVernay told us in 13, abolitionists have been trying to tell us, the statistics do not lie, abolish the whole thing, burn the whole thing down. So this is Cell Block Twins. There's a brother sleeping in a 6x8 cell. He used to play ball on Thursdays with Marco and the crew, tall, slender, just the right size for skinny jeans, but he refused to wear them. There's a brother sleeping in a 6x8 cell tonight. He always needed just the right amount of sag to hide nickel and dime bags in his right front pocket, cash palmed in his left hand, transactions as seamless as the next breath from the last. For him, there was no puff, puff pass, just squinted dark brown eyes, the color of tree stumps. He was cut down just like them too. When his third grade teacher took his inattentiveness for a learning disability, she miscalculated his potential. Off the charts, brilliant, minus underfunded schools plus overcrowded classrooms equals a mind left wandering. See, kingpins aren't stupid, quite the contrary. If the government got a drug lord or two to run the US Treasury, we'd be in the black in 3 days. But I digress, because this is no jesting matter. Because there's a sister sleeping in a 6x8 cell. She used to braid hair in the summertime, $5 a head. She had beads in every color for pep rallies too. There's a sister sleeping in a 6x8 cell tonight. She loved taking care of her girlfriends' heads because she had seen her father beat her mother's one too many. She had seen him beat him one too many times, and then there was one time in this night, he knocked her unconscious, left the complex, never to return again. Money got shorter. Months got longer. She started dating the neighborhood drug dealer. There were no scholarships. There were no journeys through the motherland. There was no pontificating or trips to the Holy Land. There were only landlords and bill collectors, byproducts of racist, sexist, homophobic, classist structures designed to keep sons and daughters and siblings of the diaspora enslaved. There's a brother and a sister in 6x8 cells tonight. They are twins, fraternal, lynched by the injustice system, who's looking for another meal ticket. Instead of being tarred and feathered, they're hit with charges that tether them to criminal for life. The Sunday they were arrested, they had gone to church with their mother, treated her to brunch at Golden Corral, her favorite. Sister girl kissed her on the cheek right next to the knob-shaped scar from the night Daddy left. They did what they did for her. And her face was the only one they could see when cops raided the stash house last night. They are fraternal twins, born 60 seconds apart, now separated by a mistrial, a 21st century auction block. There are fraternal twins sleeping in 6x8 cells tonight. So as you climb into your comfy bed, remind yourself of the thousands of sisters and brothers sleeping in jails tonight in America. They are not just convicts. They are not just felons. They are our babies, trapped in a society built on capitalism and greed. So tell me about the God that you serve. Preachers and teachers and leaders and healers, who will set these captives free?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, indeed.
Thank you, beloved.
Right. So, yeah, so we told you we was gonna bring the fire, gonna bring the flame, gonna bring the heat, and that's what's going on here tonight. So let me tell you a little bit about the next poet. Thank you very much, Lyvonne Proverbs.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Off the chain, we're really glad you could do it. So our next reader is a brother by the name of Taalam Acey. And he sent me this really long bio. But here, this is what I'm gonna let y'all in on. This is what Stevie Wonder said about him. He said, "You have so much inspired me with your spoken word." Taalam is the child of the Newark Rebellion and was raised by a single mother who served as a member of the famed writer activist Imam Omedi Baraka. He's an independent artist whose work has been featured frequently on TV One as well as the documentary channel, and on and on and on and on and on, you know, but give up some love for my man, Taalam Acey. When I grow up, I want to write like him, okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm enjoying everyone. I can't wait to hear everyone that comes after me. Respect to Sister Zannette. And before I get started, Ngoma, just real quick, I just keep thinking back to days we spent outside of the Sugar Shack or outside of Mocha and conversations we had. I mean, you're still here, and I'm still here, and I look forward to hopefully us being live and talking together again. But I really cherish those times, and I wish there was footage. I wish I could go back to those conversations and that laughter and all of that. You know, like just looking at you right now, I miss all of that. You know, I miss those times, and they're more valuable to me now than they were even then. There is something about the way she conjures the ancestors. She dances when she walks like she's from the Congo, pure. Convo, like Asada Shakur says, brothers don't understand the science behind her self-reliance. She has a tattoo of Noble Drew on her neck and a tattoo of Marcus Garvey on her breast, and says you got to have the presence if you ever hope to get past her Malcolm X. She is smooth as a Hennessy she's sipping as we listen to Horace Silver playing our third game of chess. And I can't help but stare into the natural texture of her hair as she compares George Padmore with C.L.R. James. And from there, she discusses Rodney's, how Europe underdeveloped Africa, and compares that to Kwame Nkrumah's neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. And as her lips move, I get lost in her rhythm. And as her thoughts move, I get lost in her wisdom. I love it when she sings CC to the children. I love when we go on vacations and she puts that homemade sign on the door that says, "Do not disturb." Nation building. She is Harriet Tubman, loving her people with a passion like the last chapter in Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro. We go conjure the ancestors after every poetry reading, breathing life into the souls that surround us like New Orleans, constantly calling me back. I bathe her in compliments. I wrap her confidence around my waist. I taste her ancestors' DNA every night because there's something spiritual about swallowing the same fluids that once caused the physical forms of her predecessor slaves and tribes. And yo, you might think you know me, but if you ain't never seen me with her, then you ain't never seen me alive. I said, you might think you know me, but if you ain't never seen me with her, then you ain't never seen me alive. She goes from J.A. Rogers to Abu Bakr. Her heart beats the rhythm of the Haitian Revolution, and she dances to it, singing the songs of the Cimarron colonies of San Salvador. And as she moves, there's something about the way she conjures the ancestors. There's something about the way she conjures my soul by day and by night. There is something about the way that she has conjured me back from the dead. There is something about the way that she conjures me continuously, y'all, back to life. That's the first piece. Peace.
Yeah.
This is groovy.
Hey.
When you first invited me, I thought I was actually going to get to just get on a plane and go out to Yale and hang out. So, you know, this COVID thing, I'm still walking in the stores and forgetting that I got to throw that mask on. So do not pass go. They want a monopoly over your mind, your soul, and your body. And you want to know how you go from slinging rocks to breaking rocks. The devil's in the details are key. Society will convince you to sell vows so they can sentence you to a cell and sell your free services like vows. You really think them judges ain't got contracts for kickbacks with all those one-size-fit-all cookie-cutter trials? Not for them. A slave court is like Rikers Island, is just a stash, and they get to re-up immediately after they tee up with their connect at the country club. So when you standing in front of that judge, whew, you looking like money, blood. When you find yourself standing in front of a black robe to stand to make money off your black ass, it's probably too late to ask whether you ever really should have believed that a trap house could be the way out. See, the funny thing about traps is eventually everybody get to play the mouse. Serve things, serve time. Become a purveyor of free goods and services. Go from being your own man to one of the private prison industrial complexes. Human purchasers, money worshipers tend to end their story as inventory. Them cell block tears be like shells, and jumpsuits and barcoded bracelets, that'll be your packaging. And this ain't the first time they stacked Africans, but perhaps one of the first times that some of us was half volunteering. Like, we prefer the company of a cellmate to that of our soulmate, not children. Pardon self. I love you, bro. You're gonna do what you're gonna do, but prior to I get to speak my pieces, each one teach one in this belly of the beast. And that crime bill should have been subtitled, incarcerate as many black men as possible and make it damn near impossible for them to get released. These days, they'll get you if you waver. They'll enslave you while you're on the fence. And the next thing you'll hear is, "Excuse me, Your Honor. I represent the defense. And I believe this is the part of the trial. We just automatically ask for a plea bargain. I'm a public defender, so it makes my job easier if I just convince them that even though there's no real evidence against them, this jury will be filled with senior citizens, housing crisis victims who would love to take it out on a black man but can't lynch him. So the next best thing is to vindictively convict them. Look, listen, bro. Keep your head up. Learn a skill. We all fed up. But what's real is it ain't no easy way. You either stay out here and grind with the rest of us, or you chase that trap and be a slave. That's that piece. How y'all? Hope y'all feeling as good as y'all looking on the screen. Hi, Yoyen. I thought it was weird to see both of y'all in two different squares earlier, but you know, I thought I was tripping.
Modern technology.
She gonna get in closer into the square, or because we just kind of see the little silhouette.
Wait a minute.
Okay, give me a second.
Nice.
Cords and stuff all over the place.
There it is. I am a ghost named Seldom Seen. I mastered the ability to ignore phony people and telephone rings at an early age. I am Horace Tapscott and Billy Higgins, round about midnight at the world stage, trying to explain a love supreme to a band that's been infiltrated by the powers that be. Shop work, style free, attract all men as a divine yeses, so eventually ain't nobody know me. I am Jimmy Baldwin. Nobody knows my name. I am Sun Ra, third eye, marching jam session through the streets of Harlem on the way back home from the gig, y'all dig. This level of righteous sincerity can only be lived by those who become comfortable with silence. I am a ghost named Seldom Seen. My scene is the quietest side of the Temple archives, and you will recall back in grammar school roll call when so many children were just here, but a few of us, we were present. We hyperactive listeners, we overhear minus the ear hustle, we muscle our way into our own subconscious. We're comfortable with the idea of poems taking multi-year gestation periods. Writer's block is just a myth perpetuated by the impatient patience of outpatients, while we believe in the poem taking as much time as it requires to itself, to write itself before we even endeavor. I am a spirit named Seldom Seen. And I show up on the scene with all types of invisible flashy chains and rings. I am Dita schizophrenic. I have no ego. I cannot be moved by controversy or gossip. I'm an apparition. I do not reality show. I used to catch a flight every 3.5 days. Used to sit and listen to poems at least 4 times a week. I've studied the parameters of my art form. I'm confident in the space in which I speak. I used to channel Thelonious Monk when I had to strike chords to eat. But now when young poets ask me for advice, I tell them to consistently figure out what you emphatically care about. Then continuously dig deep, baby. Dig deep. I am a ghost named Seldom Seen, and you're liable to hear all types of crazy and strange things about my past. And you should always feel free to ask. But the short story about my dark ways is how I followed the long path to enlightenment. Now I reside in a brick church with no windows and stainless glass floors, and plenty of open archways where some choose to project their own doors. And who am I to talk? I know all about it, and I still have to work on not projecting mine. Taalam Acey, Dan, effortless to connect with, but damn near impossible to find. My head is in the clouds, my spirit's in the wind, and my soul is to help you find yourself until I'm seldom seen again. Yeah. This is wild. The wildest part is how everybody's like on mute, you know what I mean? So I'm like looking for the vibe, but you can't hear the vibe, you just gotta feel it.
Yeah, you gotta feel it.
Great.
Gotta feel it.
Salam, my man.
Word. Yo, Lyvonne, that piece when you was talking about like the sister in jail and all that, I gotta hear that again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
that was nice.
I see you on the gram.
I gotta get that. I gotta hear that more than once, more. So I think I got a few minutes left based on my time. And I'll leave y'all with this last poem. Actually, I think in 3 minutes and 45 seconds, I could actually put in 2. I have them 2 poems that are that short. Since I've been calling, I haven't written a lyric. I mean, why should I? But I can call upon spirits with rhythms and flows that dance like Africans who slave on rubber plantations in the Belgian Congo, whose souls blaze more brilliant than Leopold's. Even tonight, as new graves grow cold, chlorofluorocarbons warm up the globe, they live like that deep-ass John Carpenter flag. I mean, can we agree that the Orisha still permeate Santeria? Can we agree that Bourdon has made itself at home in the Catholic Church? And if so, then when you see me amongst the leaves, don't think that I'm praying to the trees. I'm praying through the trees. Just like this poetry is now playing through me. See, I am a vessel, but like the good ship Jesus, I float in the direction which the actual Son of Man teaches. See, death is like a prison full of souls that had to surrender, but the inmates can still make things happen from the outside if you help to propagate their agenda. And tree roots, constellations, rivers, and streams, these are the evidence of things not seen. Think the Haitian Revolution was just Toussaint and Dessalines. No, that was the evidence of things not seen. They say superstition is the name that the ignorant give to their ignorance. And there must be a lot of superstition going around because cash has a spiritual significance with pyramids and acacia trees and signs and symbols of deities taken from our Kivalan libraries and now permanently stored in the Vatican. And who am I? I'll be your operator, patching you into the infinite. If sex was death, we would be intimate, yet never reaching a climax. Counting millenniums like days, intertwining my destiny with the stars like runaway slaves. You can trace my existence through drawings on caves, yet we submit to the same God. My job's to make you conscious of your subconscious. bring you to a new trance dance every time your mind gets aligned with parallel galaxies that the Pharisees can barely see, prepared to be taken to your ultimate destiny where your test will be to call me. All right. So based on my time, I got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Y'all ready? Y'all think I'm tripping. I actually have like the whole stopwatch thing going on. I'm trying to be professional and adhere to, what we agreed on. Here we go. What if this is God's work? What if real poets walk the earth and live lives fit for a prophet's birth, spreading ancient wisdom like the Coptic church, and those that know what they're hearing, know that they're hearing something special. And perhaps eventually afford to be sent here just to bless you, test you in this world of lies. And if you feel your eyes cry, it'll be because they recognize that what they're seeing is the truth. And the chills up your spine provide absolute proof that in this now, where politicians encourage you to prove themselves unworthy of your time, and television shows and music videos are proving themselves unworthy of your mind, don't be surprised to find that God is especially present in poetry dens, guiding poets' pens, and not just those men who pretend to be closer to God than you by making you ashamed of your sins when the lives that they've lived may not have been what God intends for your salvation. What if this is God's work? What if the Creator realized that the creation isn't perfect, but only wishes for us to worship sincerely, to not be hypocrites, but to really be concerned about our fellow man, to stand up against injustices falsely perpetuated in God's name in foreign lands? What if this is God's work? What if the poets are closer to Muhammad, Buddha, and Jesus than the preachers? I said, what if the poets are closer to Muhammad, Buddha, and Jesus than the preachers? I mean, think about it, y'all. Which of us are living closer to the streets, and which of us are living closer to Caesar? Which of us are living high up on the hog, and which of us are the poor righteous teachers? What if this is God's work? And if so, then poetry is sacred. So you poets should be concerned. Just step up on this stage with them, be on your job, because if this is God's work, then stealing from another poet is the same thing as stealing from God. And it's not about your use of sexuality or profanity. It's about whether you use your tools for odds and oohs, or whether you use your tools to improve humanity. What if this is God's work? Another blasphemous have hell to pay. So I wouldn't say anything tonight in Ngoma that I wouldn't be comfortable repeating on Judgment Day. What if this is God's work, y'all? Let us pray. It's showing 14 minutes and 53 seconds. That's that. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Can't wait to hear the rest.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. You did all my favorites, man.
Yeah.
Love you. Love you.
Love you.
Thank you, Taalam.
Thank you.
So, now we're going to hear from Sunni Patterson, I think. Sunni. Oh,
There we go. I see you.
okay. Good.
I hope you can hear me. There you are.
All right, spotlighted. Yeah, thanks for doing all of this. New Orleans visionary Sunni Patterson is a highly sought after and internationally acclaimed poet, performer, workshop facilitator, and certified life coach. She began her career as a full-time high school teacher, and much of her life since has been devoted to serving as a cultural worker and spiritual activist through art, poetry, and praise. So give up all this love for Sunni Patterson in the house.
Yeah.
Hey, family. It's been so, I'm on my phone, so I'm only seeing a couple, I'm only seeing myself right now, but seeing there we are, seeing a couple people, but just giving thanks for the time, is something that we have to gather in this way, but the gathering is the most important, right? The gathering part. So we give thanks for that. So while everyone was talking, I came in at a certain part. So I just summed up from the part I joined to our brother Taalam. And so it says a poem. This was I started with what's the brother's name? My brother's name who did the Rumble Black Man Rumble. Okay. So poem as cemetery, as soil, as soul, as Black man playing Jesus. But this is more than playing, more than simile and metaphor, beyond using like or as. This just is rumble, Black man rumble. Even when you fumble, Black man, you recover. You always do. Ain't that right? And ain't that Black? Ain't that creativity and talent? Ain't it more than music and instruments, from didgeridoos to just plain old don't yous? Like, don't you know black people always ready? He say, black people always ready. He say, always ready, always ready. Ancestors always ready, and always come when we call. Poems, prayers, and power, and peace, and love, and justice, and equality, he say. But as the violin plays, as it reminds and haunts, as it plucks and screeches, as it asks, where were you? Where were you when they crucified my God? Where were you? Where were you when love was left bleeding, bleeding out to die? Where were you when things fell apart? Because ain't that what things do? Fall apart or collapse together? But ain't that what happens when Jim Crow is still in style? Ain't that what happens when love is left to die? But here, oh my God, thank God for her, for black and woman, with a voice and a sound and a heart, with her rhyme and rhythm, with her truth. What do you do? What do you do when your existence is being threatened, she asked. Well, some turn into tsunamis and wrap themselves in tornadoes and turn the world right side up or down or whatever. Or just like our hair, coiled up, curled up, napped up, and sometimes too relaxed to stand up, she reminds sometimes. But ain't that black? Ain't that still black? Ain't that still good? Ain't that what Proverbs make us feel? Ain't that woman? Ain't it good and balanced and ancestor movement and conjure, and how the sway of her hips can change the weather? Certainly then she can change your mind and your heart and your spirit. And ain't it easy? Or is it? For ghosts who mask as men, Jimmy, Sunra, Taalam, dig deep, he says, bow deeper, grace and honor. Ain't that what humility makes you do? Ain't that what humility make you do? See the seen in the unseen, the evidence in the unknown. This is God's work. We are reminded, clear, holy, and divine. Okay.
Sunny!
Asheo. Yes, indeed.
My family, I have some family members that came in town, and they, we didn't know. Good thing they did, good thing they, them kind of family members. That's like, oh, hey, some you'd be like, oh, not you. All right. But so I'm gonna move as best I can in the time that we have. Let's see. Through fear and fire, through hell and hoses, through bark and bite, Bible, blood and bullets, when the wind whispers win, we will win. Whispers faith, whispers love, whispers forgive and organize, whispers believe at the lowest moments, at the strangest times. Will we remember when we will win? Will we remember the dream? Will we remember that ancestors are breath and bridge, that they carry us over tumultuous time? Or you who can hear and answer with quick remedy, you are ready before we ask. You who can speak through tongues of trees and fire and water, this earth cannot hold you. We pound the ground and you appear, O ancient ones. You who can make lightning strike with the flick of a skirt. You who can make tornado turn with the spin and span of hips, take us there to the place of knowing, to the hall that leads to the doorway of you, O holy ones. You of the first light. You who know the potential of possibility pulsing in the dark, deliver us unto our gifts. You who have sunlight in your fingertips, touch our drums, make us hear the rising, make us move a steady stump, a choir of voices so majestic. Heaven hides us in a tapestry of light. Oh, we are stars, blankets of wonder, sky bright eyes, seeing the invisible, visible. You who have returned, you have turned our faces so that we see ourselves, and we have found you again in places we would have never imagined. You make our limits infinitely long. Our vision is clearer with eyes closed, and even there, you still stand in full color, vibrant and eager to serve. All right. Let's see. I had a whole look. I keep forgetting that we here. I'm listening for people, and it is all muted. Oh, well, thank you.
We love you.
They wanted her. I love y'all too. They wanted her. They wanted her piecemeal and paper mache, practically broken, limp-like and loveless, a litany of exaggeration. They wanted her low and high, flat and wide, filled with all of their empty. They wanted her to be more like them, not knowing her conception was immaculate, that she was birthed in sandalwood, scented river water, sweet sapphire, honey touched tongue. Look, she was too much of a mouthful for the greedy. Just a small amount of her was more than they could stand, or they wanted her bland and barren, unspirited, un-African, uncultured, under siege in the streets. They wanted her face down, ass up, hands cuffed and ankles strapped. They wanted her knowing she could never want them back, or they wanted her holy, baptized in her divine. They wanted her secrets, pearls to swine. They wanted to unravel the mystery of her design, fascinated by glory, hypnotized by her kind, or they wanted her complete. They wanted her whole, though they came fractioned, half-hearted, half soul, with no regards and no knowledge as to who she really was. Oh, but if they knew her, praise songs would rain from the clouds of their eyes, clearing the vision, bathing the heart. They would bow every time they saw her, be their best selves when she was around. If they knew her, knew she was the glue to their revolution and the life flow of blood through their veins. If they knew her, well, she would know. And just like him, in all of his majesty and might, his brilliance and his beauty, his black and his blue, boy still slips from their lips when they address him, still lingers in the velvet of his dreams, the seen unseen, black boy fighting for manhood in a world that still sees through Jim Crow lens. So they love him in his place, separate, away, torn, disconnected, passive, submissive, and shuffling. Well, not just turn that shuffling into dancing, because you know them love black boys dancing and singing and bawling. You know them love black boys' strength, but don't love black boy. Don't love black boy, don't love black boy. So now him drifting in the wind, searching for himself in places that never allow him to be himself. So now black boy scared of his own shining black reflection, but we don't call you a son for nothing. Black boy, you radiate sacred wonder. We see you shining star in the mirror of your own eyes and ours. Your manhood is manna, is sinew, is potent, it's pure. Black boy, proud of the black man he has become. We see you, a pillar in the place of crumbling remains. Oh, black man, you reign, an effervescent dew that wakes the world. We honor you and we bear witness to your power. All right.
Sure.
Let's go. I share. This is the last one. I still don't know my time, but this is the last one here. So this particular poem is something because with, especially with coronavirus and everything, you know how they said, well, if you have pre-existing conditions, and it's something because, we know that America has had a pre-existing condition for a very, very long time. So, when we see certain things that force us to expand our creativity, that force us to expand our hearts, that force us to expand, and come up with innovative ideas and ways that to come together still in this way to shift perspectives and to change the world. This is a powerful piece, right? The piece, yeah, but I'm talking about the piece. Okay, and when they read of this moment, right, they will see how we endured, and they will wonder how we made it, how we could live through such a time and still smile and create and celebrate, even though walls of panic and loss continue to build up around us. So they will shake their heads in astonishment. They will question how we survive without hugs and second lines and community gatherings. Or they will drum up every conspiracy theory, and most of them will be correct. They will feel the anger of the era, the frustration of the season. They will pick apart the science and discover to their surprise, oh, there was so much more hidden. This virus was a disguise. They will tremble at the revelation, and tears will come to their eyes, for they will see the essence of being in the living and those who died or when they read. They will see how this time provided a shift in foundation and frequency, how it challenged outdated systems and let go of antiquated.
Hey, sister, I don't want to cut you off.
Our courage and practice care in the midst of grief, or when they research about these days.
Sister Sunni.
The uprisings.
Sonny, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
They will connect the dots, and they too will heed the call with dignity and integrity, ancestral wisdom and pride, where creativity and imagination move head and heart into alignment, and they will know. I'm seeing something about loss of volume.
Yeah, we can't hear you, sister.
Volume dropped. I don't know if that's me. Can anybody hear? They're saying that
we can hear you, but not good.
Dropped.
Yeah, we can't hear, but not good. It went down for some reason. David.
I can't hear you. I think you're just muted, so I can't hear you.
We got you now.
Some people say.
We got you now.
Got you now.
Yeah, that's perfect now. Can you
Ngoma, I didn't hear nothing you said about it. Oh, now okay. It says now we hear. All right.
Now it's perfect.
Now we hear. Where we left off. Now the thing is where we left off.
Shit, start over that joint.
Right. Okay, we got thumbs up. That means that people can hear. We said, so I don't know. Let's see where we stop. When they research, let's go there. It says, can you run it from the beginning? Yes, I can. When they read of this moment, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that people can hear. All right, when they read of this moment, they will see how we endured. They will wonder how we made it, how we could live through such a time and still smile and create and celebrate. Even though walls of panic and loss continue to build up around us, they will shake their heads in astonishment. They will question how we survived without hugs and second lines and community gatherings. They will drum up every conspiracy theory, and most of them will be correct. They will feel the anger of the era, the frustration of the season, and they will pick apart the science and discover to their surprise, there was so much more hidden. This virus was a disguise. They will tremble at the revelation, and tears will come to their eyes, for they will see the essence of being in the living and those who died, or when they read, they will see how this time provided a shift in foundation and frequency, how it challenged outdated systems and let go of antiquated beliefs, how we were forced to grow our courage and practice care in the midst of grief, or when they research about these days, from the uprisings to the downfalls. They will unravel the knots, they will connect the dots, and they too will heed the call with dignity and integrity, ancestral wisdom and pride, where creativity and imagination move head and heart into alignment, and they will know, because they will feel the power and presence of devotion and will, of culture, of spirit, of justice, of light, of oneness, of harmony, of divinity and insight, or when they read of this moment, they will see how we endured, and they will still question how we made it, and we will say, well, how could we not? Here's to plenty love, plenty joy.
Yes.
Plenty revelation and goodness for all of us in this year. Ngoma, Baba, I'm grateful that I was able to be a part and hear such powerful poets and people.
We were glad you could do it. Thank you.
Baba, I can't hear you.
Oh, where am I? Oh, no, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good, Ngoma.
This must be what everybody else was going to do, because now I can't hear you.
We're really glad you could do it. Thank you. I'm helping to make a wonderful.
But Baba, I could read it. I'm grateful for this caption, because I can read.
So,
either way, peace, love, and light.
Back at you. So next is Roger Bonair Agard. Where's Roger? Roger, you there? Hey, Roger. Okay. Can you hear us, Roger?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we can hear you too. Roger Bonair Agard is a native of Trinidad and Tobago and Brooklyn. He is author of Tarnish and Masquerade, Cipher Books 2006, Gully, Cipher Books 2010, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. Because we'll be here all day. We're glad to have Roger Bonair Agard, who's in Chicago, right?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. That's a long ways. That's awfully cold for a Trinidadian.
Bruh.
Well, we're really glad that you could do this, and we've been waiting. So without further ado, I bring to you Roger Bonair Agard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you, Ngoma. Thank you, Croilot. Thank you, Oshunyoyin, all the people who are involved in this. Thank you, Jessica, all the people in audience and stuff. Let me set up my timer so I could be professional like Taalam and shit. Let's go. On asking a Black woman if you might touch her hair. Be Black. If you aren't Black, be her man or friend since childhood. Preface the question with, I know this is weird and calls to mind many crazily embedded racial histories, but if her hair is dreaded, rethink the request. Preface the request with the honorific sister, only if you are Black. Be Black. Make sure you've seen her smile first. Make sure you know what kind of a day she's been having. Make sure you're the only two people in the room. Have a well thought out response for when she asks why. The word fascination should not be a part of the response, especially if you are not Black. Be Black. Have more than one Black friend. Do not bring up how much you know about Black culture. Be Black. If she doesn't answer you, do not assume she didn't hear you the first time.
Yes, Roger.
Okay. This piece is called The Poems of Julia de Burgos. I'm a good man. Let's begin there, and let's also say that there's a relationship between the night I tried to kill a man with a baseball bat, the night I tried to drag a cabbie out of his moving car, the boy I dragged down the hill through the snow, and the night a gun was pressed to my temple under the shadow of the J train overhead tracks. Let's also say there is a straight line back to the day my grandmother refused my father entry in to see me. I was 7, and I can still see his purple dashiki wave like a god's face against the cloudless sky outside. Let's say these moments inform both my most tender lovemaking and my lies, that I made of the night I flew through the air, taking several feet of steel railing with me, and I did not die, and I regret none of it. If you've ever watched a sporting contest and cheered for the team with more Black players, knowing nothing else of the conflict, then chances are I already fucks with you and would buy you a drink on strength. This would have nothing to do with the man you once nailed to a floorboard before stealing his drug money, or the woman you lied to and called hurtful names after fucking. Perhaps you've abandoned your children and only sent money back, and perhaps you haven't even done that, but you blazed another kind of necessary, brilliant life within which your son would find it easier to believe he could slit a white man's throat and beat the case. I slapped a white man once in a bar and he fell back and hit his head, and I dipped out the back door and slipped close to buildings in shadows under a New York night because I knew I could not beat the case. When Miracle of Godless Miracles, the same man walked into the bar I walked into an hour later, I palmed a steak knife and faced in his direction because survival is more important than beating the case. I am a black man, a good man. I regret none of it. I'm grateful I finally had the temerity to slap this man and take on his whole crew. I was building the man who would fight for his children one day. The same man built by his father turned away, and the day me and the Lakota girl Susan fought every white boy on the schoolyard. These things are called trauma. I am grateful for the scars. I am awed by the poems of Julia de Burgos. I understand she was a drunk, like I've been often. You can't find a Puerto Rican who gives a fuck about writing who won't claim Julia as a personal hero. And I want to know how well I have to write before I can say, fuck your need of my gratitude, before I can be truthful with you about who I am, what I've done, and how many times I think about disemboweling the white people who have hurt me. Or does that verse come when I don't give any more fucks about you, reader, here to judge me on the constitution of your own poor decisions? Where were you the first night all those boys made me load that pistol and told me to shoot through the door? You were resting quietly in your beds, worrying about who was going to come for you next or not. At any rate, I'm not sorry. There is enough music in my head, and Julia de Burgos urges me only speak to myself. I am grateful for her, and the blood, and the muck, and the shit. All right.
Disembowel, thank you for those pieces. Sunni, Acey, speak that truth, your truth.
Gregory Isaacs as a verb of what I remember about 1985. The week before, I'd come round the corner, corduroy cap leaned on my head, chewed straw out the corner of my mouth, my shadow 30 degrees slant against the pavement, travel fox sneakers stepping and sliding when I ran into my father. I was surprised to see I was taller than he, and it was 3 years, but I was still vexed. He had a woman with him. I had a beer in my hand. Anthony Joseph had recently dropped out of school, but he had loaned us all his Boisman Carré, my voice recently dug out and striking towards a version of the man I could become. I said something non-committal and probably rude. I took a swallow of beer. I said bye. I moved on. That night, I'd ask a girl for a blowjob in Memorial Park, and she'd say yes. The year we sipped Guinnesses in front speaker boxes 2 times our height and width, and found girls who powdered their chests to grind against to Gregory Isaacs, sad to know you're leaving. I was learning how to drive and beginning to die. I was still at one with the bush, but didn't fully understand why Leroy Clark's canvases wouldn't leave my mind. I barely survived my baptism. I could feel the dwen rising in me every day that summer, 2 years before I landed in Brooklyn, ready to bloody myself alive. I had survived my dead run into the sun and emerged with a clicking jaw as my only artifact to mortality. But I wish I'd shown my father more love that day. He was 12 years younger than I am now. What grief begins to kill you to encounter your own self come around a corner with murder in its eyes? I pray he knows now that I love him and that I had no choice that day, headed as I was to the Congo underworld of myself. I came from him. Of course I would return. But that summer, I was spending my own money for the first time, learning the texture of fresh graveyard dirt, becoming all the cruelties that would teach me how to love myself.
Nutrient lot.
I wouldn't know how to start doing that at this point.
Oh, man.
Infinite blackness. This is not a threat, not a way to say we plan on blood. No one ever plans on blood, yet blood comes. And when blood comes, blood moves hard. You know how sometimes the clouds pass over a full moon and it looks like the moon is moving real fast? That's how blood moves, unmoving and suddenly full. This is no threat. This is a love trumpet. You have created infinite blackness, which now you have no idea how to contain. You, one drop defined whiteness, purity, and now we have niggas who look like you amongst you. Isn't that amazing how solidarity gets made, how niggas find other niggas to get up with? In South Africa, there are gangs of black boys who umbrella themselves under two major banners, the Biggies and the Tupacs. We have niggas there, halfway around the globe, ready to ride right now. You don't really want us calling on those armies, do you, Mr. Limbaugh, Miss Palin, all you bankers who took the money and booked? In Jamaica, there are gangs of black boys who umbrella themselves under two major banners, Gully and Gaza. You see what I'm getting at, don't you, Mr. Santorum, Arizona, governor of Wisconsin? Niggas know the connection amongst niggas. We aren't sitting around smoking crack and drinking malt liquor. We know the connection between Alabama's immigration laws and NBA owners' attempts to sucker punch the players. That's a lot of niggas. Just waiting. I'm telling you this, Miss Bachman, Mr. Gingrich, because I love you. And it appears neither of us is going anywhere. All you jail builders and school closers, there are niggas in Hiroshima, Palestine, and Des Moines just waiting for the call. There are church niggas and transgender niggas in the cut pretending to not pass notes, Mr. Pfizer, Mr. Monsanto. We see a clear through line from Emmett Till to Trayvon Martin, and we've been memorizing the names of every nigga you killed who you kept out the papers. We're here and we know what's up, and we've been memorizing the sound of whistling in shell casings. Take heed, not with guns. Look for once at yourself. Imagine today what the fuck you look like in all your Columbus Day whiteness. We are invisible, but we see. We are infinite. Niggas are indeed in Paris, Mumbai, and Brooklyn. We are not just making rap videos and we ain't whistling Dixie. We bridge builders over the world's most troubled waters, and our tools and numbers are endless, and we gather at your skin like blood. We locust, we love, and we have begun to move. Consider Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Marcus Garvey, Shirley Chisholm, and Malcolm X as prophecy. It is possible still. Pope Benedict, George Zimmerman, American Dynasty, to save yourselves simply by learning how to act right in company, by reading Baldwin and Hooks, Ralph Ellison and Audre Lorde, by listening to Donny Hathaway and boys beating buckets in the subway. We have things to say. We are worth your time. We love you. Lean in. This could save your life. All right. I have like 2 more minutes. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Thank you all again very, very much for listening. Thank you, everybody who read. Thank you for the work. Thank you to Sunni Patterson's really crisp hat. Yeah. 1110 Fulton Street, Bedford-Stuyvesant, 1989, a pre-gentrify ekphrastic. Jewels and all that, the clothes was all that. You think you step into me, that's where you take your fall at, Notorious B.I.G. See here, this corner bodega is where Biggie dropped freestyle bombs before anyone knew he was the greatest of all time, before the police started smiling at residents, before this bodega started selling soy milk and organic toilet paper, before it was a yoga studio, before the blood was scrubbed with lye and the rock salt off the sidewalk by the fallen boy's mother, before we paraded Biggie's coffin aloft through the streets of Bedford-Stuyvesant, the livest one, before beef with Pac, before white youth got so goddamn brave enough to even ride the train into Brooklyn, before slumlords fixed the toilets and cleaned the lobbies and got rid of the rats and didn't come to the building with thugs to collect the rent, before Giuliani, even before Manhattan got too expensive and chased artists south who believed they were the first artists ever to come here because that's always how white people Columbus. Before the bodega let you come into the store to buy 25-cent Lucy's in the middle of the night and sold them to you through a bulletproof turnstile at eye level from the street, before anyone asked me for a credit check to rent a studio, they fixed the C shuttle stop at Franklin and Fulton before the end of crack or the Reagan era, before Amadou Diallo and Dumbo and Palladium was still there and Tyson Champ and NWA still together and Left Eye still alive, and they hadn't cleaned the vials off the field we played on in Saturday leagues, even though families were there and children were being raised and the people demanded good food and were ignored and were sent patrol cars rolling their neighborhoods slow, and no one was so goddamn proud of themselves because they planted a community garden and called the cops on their neighbors with noise complaints and boasted about how the great West Indian food and complained about how hard it was to find tofu. But the people here are so real, they said, and so alive. It was great to live here before everybody decided to come. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah.
That timer is my time.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So, rolling right along. Jessica. Jessica. Where is Jessica?
I'm right here.
Ah, yeah. Jessica Moore is the executive producer and founder of the 16-year-old rock and roll concert and empowerment weekend, Black Women Rock. Moore is a strong believer in institution building. Moore created More Black Press Publishing in 1997 and began publishing her peers, Saul Williams, Asha Bandeli, and Danny Simmons, and Newark Mayor poet Ras Baraka, and others. She's an educator and strong advocate for youth and women's voices. She has been called by many the voice of Detroit. She penned and voiced the award-winning Detroit anthem, Move Here, Move the World. Anyway, give us some love for none other than Jessica K. Moore.
Thank you, Joe. I love you. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. And yeah, just salute to all the poets. I love y'all so much and giving me my whole life. I'm drinking coffee because I'm not on a lot of sleep. So I'm just gonna go. I don't even know what the time is. So was it 15 minutes?
Yep.
I'm probably not gonna do that much because it's, you know. Insurrection 21. To my mothers and fathers of Black sons and daughters, wondering how quickly our babies would have been murdered, our teen or young adult men if they were caught crawling up the Capitol walls or breaking out the windows of the West Wing in DC, how much sniper fire would have lit up their brown bodies, how many would consider them patriots, how many hours would they have been left to bleed out on the House floor, how long before they were deemed terrorists. I'm holding your screams in the pit of my throat. I'm swallowing leftover tear gas and American hypocrisy as it eats away at itself on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm thinking of all of you brokenhearted and full of fire, made to feel as if your Black body is never human enough, never free enough to be treated with any real dignity. After all, crimes against sovereign Black bodies was the first act of terrorism against American life. So that's just a new poem. Inspired by the crazy white people. All right, so moving on. This is from my book, We Want Our Bodies Back, that I wrote in honor of Sandra Bland.
Good.
I'm not ready to die a little more today. This is from my young sisters who might be on this feed, listening to this, young artist women. I am not ready to die a little more today. My nails are polished a bright aquamarine. My skin smells like the ocean. In my hair, I'm wearing the flowers he left on my doorstep. Tiger's eye and turquoise are wrapped around my wrist. Do I look like I'm attempting an early death? My headphones sound like Sade. I wish these new girls would get the fuck off their knees and transform a room with some subtle power and grace. Sade doesn't really dance, poet, and that is the point. When did it become okay to die in this country on our knees? The Walking Dead, a 24-hour-day spa, they parade in groups. Hell, I need a massage too, but at what price? I gotta stand behind mediocre bars just because the kids rock to it. I've yet to hear an MC destroy the alphabet more gangster than Intezaki, so I ain't ready to die today. Won't participate in the spirit massacre of our children. My throat was on fire, my pen is hot. Intezaki is dead. Intezaki will never die. I'm more alive in my 40s than most of these wannabe Euro inside out millennials. I've graduated from digital slavery masterclass. I read books without screens. I have sex with men my age or not, whenever I feel like it. I love my hair, my ass, my breasts. I'm clear my power is between my ears, inside my chest. Black girl magic doesn't grow between our legs. This is the mythology of men. How much to get off your knees, sis? This pen is a knife stabbing out the hearts of dead trees. These trees are already dead anyway. A Walking Dead urban forest. We are surrounded, so I continue to climb to write because I ain't ready to die today or tomorrow. I'm gonna keep living inside poems. You didn't know what left for you. If you would just get off the goddamn floor, you could see all these poems, all this royalty, all this world they attempt to kill you with is really your universe to inherit, to change, to rebuild. Get off your knees, stop crawling for them. Stand up, Queen Latifah, Light, Lauren, Missy Elliott, Left Eye, Bahamadia, Rod Digger, Roxanne, Rhapsody, K. Valentine, Mama Soul, Sunni Patterson. Microphones are not stripper poles. Sonia, Audrey, Maya, Intezaki, Jane, Lucille, Nikki, Tony, Asha, Stacy, Anna, Curie, Mahogany, Elizabeth, Lisa, Michelle, me, us. We need you. We need you to stop dying, to be less than who you were destined to be. We need you to outlive death in all its forms. Live, 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 so patriarchy can finally die. Woo! Thank you.
Ashe.
Thank you, peace. I'm just gonna keep going and see how many I can get done. Y'all just tell me when I'm supposed to stop. I don't know, I'll do like 4 poems or something. I don't know. Because if I don't like to go long. Because if I don't write, my body will finally cave or I will evaporate. Because if I don't write, Black girls won't know I left them a trail of tears to find themselves so they can get lost again and one day find me. Because if I don't write, someone will say Sylvia Plath and Emily Dickinson did not shit on a toilet or ever go outside. Intezaki would never discover Intezaki Shange would never discover rainbows. Maya Angelou won't ever speak. And I would have to convince myself that a man who is 5'6" can actually date me. Keep writing. Because if I don't write, my fingers may fall off or my tea kettle may melt and lose its defiant whistle, or the Detroit Pistons would have never moved back downtown. Because if I don't write, you will write for me. Tell historians Black girls were crazy, invisible, lost in time, wishing to turn our bodies inside out, become unrecognizable to our own mothers, desecrate our faces because we hated our own mirrors. Because if I don't write, there will never be a superheroine named Salt who will save the future by her ability to see herself in it. Because if I don't write, I will live in fear, die with hope, never laugh, fight, or dream, just cope. Because if I don't write, you will write me off or academically erase me. I know prophets have died for PhDs. I write to live, to prove to Black girls everywhere we are possible, and the world we created with one comedic push belongs to us too. Okay, there's that. Thank y'all. I'm going fast. So this is called Where Are the People? And it's about Detroit. I grew up obviously in Detroit, and there's an area called Cass Corridor. When I was going to Wayne State University as an undergraduate student, that's where like everything was. Students, heroin, cool people, lots of poetry, lots of people, homelessness, vets, whatever, right? So you can't, I got a pizza from this new pizza joint that's there now, lots of newness in this area. They call it Midtown now. And it had pepperoni on it. So me and my son don't eat pepperoni. So I'm trying to give a pizza to somebody and we can't find anybody to give a pizza to. And I literally probably like 5 years ago, I'm gonna say 5, definitely 8. It would have been easy to find someone to feed. And so this is called Where Are the People, for the bodies we can no longer locate. Where are the one-way tickets? Who signed the death certificates? Where are the magicians, the madmen, the toothless, the smoothless, the poets, the corner store prophets, the bus stop historians, the traffic stoppers? Where are the people? Where are the blues? Under which pile of gravel? Where are they buried? Hurricane Cass Corridor, Hurricane Cass Corridor. Where is the soil, the soul, the socks, the soles, the shoes? Where is the heroin? Where are the pills? Where are the women? Where are the thrills? Where is Cass Corridor? My student asked. Is it a building? Is it this way? Is it that way? Your school is sitting in it. I answer you. Is it? The dogs are walking the people. The dogs have parks. The parks don't have children. Where are the people? The stepped over, the forgotten Holocaust, the fragile, the beautiful, the fast talkers, the backward walkers, the 3 a.m. stalkers. Where did they take them? When will they return? Where is the balance? Where is the money? Where are the schools? Where are the people? We all got Wi-Fi. Nobody getting high outside. Where are the beds? Where is their heads? Where are the recognizable street signs? Where is Joe Louis? Where are the Black people? My white neighbor asked me, Jessica, where are the Black people? Where are the chosen people? Where are our hearts, our guitars, our bass players, Kenny Mack, Anthony Tosin, rest in peace? Where are the anointed, the children of God? Where is the stage, the holy water? Where is the Black imagination located? How much does it cost per square feet to rent there? Is there rent to own your own Black imagination option? Where are the couples fighting in the alleys? Where are the purple flavor Mad Dog 2020 labels? Where are the needles? Where is the good time? Where did all these goddamn bike lanes come from? Where is the line to simply exist? Where is the painted line to live, to breathe? Where are the parks with swings? Where are the children supposed to live? Where are the children supposed to run? Where are the twilight teasers, the moonlight mythology makers? Where are the military vets? I'm mentally ill. Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? San Francisco, Oakland, Harlem, Detroit, Chicago, Brooklyn. Do you know, huh? Have you seen them? Do they all die so new Detroit could live? Do they all die so new San Francisco could live? Where is your conscience? Where is this nonsense coming from? Where is humanity? Where are you? Where are the people? Where are the people? The one-way tickets. The message is still in the bottle. Where are the indigenous? Where are the salt mines? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people when you find them? Please tell them I have an overpriced gentrified cheese and pork pizza with their names on it. Tell them I am writing for them so they won't disappear without a fight. I don't know if that's enough. I have time for one more. I can do one, maybe one more.
Yeah. One more, dude.
Okay, I'll just do
Thank you.
No problem. I'm gonna do something old, so I'm gonna read something from I don't know what book this is.
We want to know if it's old or new.
It's
Oh
from
yeah, God's not around. Yeah,
American. That's my I don't know, second, third, but one of them books. So it's called I'm reading this because we're celebrating MLK.
Okay.
And like the sisters Proverbs said earlier, you can't really celebrate Black men historically or anyway without talking about the women that were absolutely there along the way. Same as Taalam honoring the sister in his life. Like, it's important that we acknowledge that nothing moves without Black women. And so this is called The Heart of a Movement. And I wrote it originally for Elaine Brown, Juanita Abernathy, Evan Lowry, and Kathleen Cleaver and read it at the Jimmy Carter Center. I bear witness on this day that all women are not created equal. I'm certain I would not be alive if not for you, Elaine Brown. Not breathing and full of Black power bloodlines tied to your birth. It was your refusal to not let us forget about Michael Little B. Lewis or other Black magic children we pretend not to know when we watched the paid off news from our suburban homes, the ones we forget to claim after they've been drafted into the prison industrial complex. It's complex to be a woman like you, our minister of defense, battling for the rights of women with your own comrades in the movement. You taught us responsibility, gave us more than a taste of power, a lifetime of organizing and teaching and loving and reminding this new generation that we must talk and read and write about this country's history simply because it exists, and it wouldn't if not for you. And when they couldn't kill you with church bombings, when you taught voter education classes, or with blasts to your living room, or daily threats against you and your family's lives, your feet remained planted when they walked over 300 marches. And we discussed the possibility of dying with your husband while you were still young, Juanita Abernathy. We spoil young women who speak with the power of your tongue. We study with the blood of our elders on our books and complain about the long walk to class. It seems that streets are not always named after legends or mothers or survivors of a Holocaust for that matter. When you are the wife of the Reverend, your life is a sermon every Sunday, a story of sacrifice and struggle, a vision of Harriet, retracing steps of our journey from Selma to Montgomery in honor of sheroes whose names we would have never known. Sometimes it just takes one woman to end apartheid, build a monument, stop toxic dumping in our backyards. You understood that the SCLC was powerful, but SCLC women was necessary for our rite of passage from girls into lawmakers. You, historical landmark, Evelyn Lowry, visionary in our constant fight for freedom. You, one of our other mothers of Black art, Black consciousness. You gave us the strength to take over university presidents' offices, lay our bodies across basketball courts to boycott racist newspapers, to Mason's newspapers, to give African studies departments professors with tenure. You taught us education as frontline commitment. You woman of snick-freed hue, you woman of snick-freed hue, you woman of exile and love. You're never afraid of being radical, becoming a full-time student in human rights. You sacred, you not tired, you destiny-driven, you Kathleen Cleaver, you Evelyn Laurie, you Anita Abernathy, you Elaine Brown, you power seekers, you goddesses, you Sojourner, you Miriam McKeever, you Sonia Sanchez, you Firestarter, you Nina Simone, you International, you Sister, you Mama Africa, you Truth Teller, you Revolutionary, you woman, you not supposed to be here, you not supposed to be here, you Bulletproof, you Panther, you wife, you breather, you bomb shelter, you ancestor, you pioneer, you frontline Fatima, you half Amazon, half amazing. You represent the Project Monifa, the double jump champion, hopscotch heroin, voodoo candy lady, the tree limb traffic stopper, the bubblegum popper, the pigtail astronomer, everybody's baby mama, the storm calmer, a father's daughter, the birth of blues, queen of queens, you goddesses, you warriors. I'm certain none of us would be here if not for you. Thank you.
Yes.
Love y'all. Thank you, Ngoma.
Thank you. That's great. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
From Detroit. Thank you.
Detroit. So, last but not least, we're going to hear from Aaron Jafferis. He's a hip hop poet and playwright whose works Activist Songbook, The Ones, Belonging, Stuck Elevator, How to Break Kingdom, and No Lie have been produced by Old Globe, American Conservatory Theater, Collective Consciousness, and many others. And honors include Creative Capital Award and on and on and on and on. I discovered him, I put him in a hip hop slam way back in 1997, and boy won. I was like, yo. So we've been tight since then. So, just give us some love for Aaron Jafferis in the house, repping from New Haven too.
Yes, thank you so much, Ngoma. Thank you, Qualo. Thank you, Jesse and David for creating this space. And wow, all of you who graced this space, this screen. I'm so grateful, honored to be here with y'all. I feel like I'm entering into sacred space. Thank you. And Ngoma and Zannette actually were the folks who got me into like spoken word, and Zannette actually got me into arts organizing here in my hometown of New Haven. So thank you so much, Zannette, for this. As Ngoma said, I come from the world of theater, so I'm gonna, this first piece, I'm trying something out. I'm gonna do something with lighting. So don't be scared my light went out. I'm actually gonna turn it out right now when I start. Inside the coal black mouth of a backwoods midnight, my cold right hand strikes a match to light the wicks on 2 sticks of dynamite I stick under this rich man's porch. This is my justice, my makeshift Lady Liberty torch. This fuse is lit and will soon set fire to he who refused to hire me. This coal mine foreman who said no, knowing I have 9 kids and a wife to feed, who closed the door on me, leaving my whole life a coal mine with no air to breathe. Someone snuffs the wick and it stops. They handcuff me quick. It's cops and I am caught red-handed, cold-blooded, alone, dynamite embedded under the foreman's home, and clink the locks in place and click the mugshot locks my face into this old news clipping. My dad slips into my hand saying, this Slovak immigrant who died alone in a Pittsburgh prison with no gravestone because he was worth less than the prophets of those above, worth less than the same earth he mined and loved, is your great-granddad, Aaron, your flesh and blood. And as he says this, I feel my great-grandpa's restless ghost flying from prison with one final vision flitting under his eyelids. One of my 9 kids, or their dozens of cousins, will set this system aflame, be the change maker I wasn't. My death certificate says I died in this prison of cirrhosis of the liver. That just means whiskey and poverty. So one of my descendants will have to deliver my dynamite's message to some rich person's property. But my soul is still floating, so hungry, because my kids didn't fight for jobs and rights in coal country. The foreman and his boss in some faraway office saw this rising tide of immigrants like us was a threat to profits. So they tried to stop this by calling us dirty, rapists, lazy, or beasts, so people would support hiring more police. But there were so many of us flooding in from Europe with no end in sight. They realized if we stayed dirt poor and learned to fight together, their profits might overturn and burn overnight. So they doused the flame by naming us European immigrants white. They knighted my kids into this made-up white race. Entitled and frightened, others might take their rightful place. I thought my offspring would rise against the bosses, but the bosses gave them this offering. You turn your matches, your fire, your dynamite, your nooses against Black people and newer immigrants, then no one white loses. We'll give you a little more power and pay if you help us bosses keep brown people at bay. So if one of my descendants lost a coal mine job now, instead of questioning the collapse of that whole coal cash cow, he'd blame Mexicans, Chinese, or Black people somehow. And that's why I've come to you today, great-grandson, because some of your blood cousins were among the ones storming the Capitol with flagpoles and guns after their capitalist-in-chief sold them the belief it's better to be separate than equal to Black and brown people. And I wonder, is this what my dynamite blood has come to? Instead of righteously fighting for equality, is it equality they've come to undo? Whoa, great-granddad. You are one deep ghost, sir. But if I look at your story a little closer, I wonder if these white so-called rebels attacking Congress, though most are actually middle class, if not rich, are a little like you and your dynamite back then. Childlike, proud boys thinking weapons and whining might make them men. If the coal mine foreman was barely better off than you, and if you'd offed him, then what would you do? If you and your co-conspirators' dynamite exploded, it would have been a loud noise, a show of fake power and cowardice by pride-wounded, proud boys. What if what's more powerful, more courageous? What if the bravest way to make change is the daughter you left behind, my blind grandma, raising a whole family to be anti-racist, tracing our features with her fingers on our faces, teaching us the future will make her favorite saying true. The more ingredients in the pot, the more flavorful the stew. And maybe she knew when her white grandkids like this one, feeling stuck in this system, join new movements rooted in Black and brown freedom, wisdom, and deep down grandmama vision, something ancient and beautiful that existed before whiteness will ignite. And when this match strikes that kind of dynamite, this country's inequity will overturn and burn. Overnight.
Woo! Woo! Yeah.
He's good.
That boy's good.
You see the match doesn't always work. So maybe it's not matches and dynamite that is going to make the change happen. So this next piece has no special lighting. I live in a fine New Haven neighborhood, and my environment is just, because whoever designed my neighborhood knew a liquor store must be never more than 3 blocks away from me. And I know the store on my end of the street is high end, because they don't hide them bottles behind some wide counter or bulletproof glass where I have to eye them and sigh them. I can actually touch the bottles before I buy them, like Now I'm touching this high-end bottle of Flor de Caña rum inside the store, thinking, what if we could take this touchy-feely thing one step more and actually touch the people who made the rum before it made its way in my high-end liquor store's door? I'm not talking about touching Captain Morgan. I'm saying, where does my rum come from and who, and was it made by someone like you? So I brush the dust off the bottom of the bottle until I can see the label says, made in Nicaragua. And that's when it hits me. This rum was maybe made in New Haven's sister city. I bet you didn't know New Haven had a sister. She does, and she is hot, so hot, her main crop is dust. And I was so hot when I visited her, my main crop was must trust. I took a bus to this rural Guyana town and my white ass turned Moreno brown. I went down on an education delegation and what? You're surprised I'm a teacher? Think, if I didn't drink each weekend, I'd be a homicidal creature during the week and your misbehaving kid wouldn't live to see the 7th grade, which is kind of like how it is in Guyana, because there the 6th grade is the highest one that exists, A, and B, a lot of 6th grade boys in our pretty hot sister city have got to work the sugarcane plantation in the morning before they come to school in the afternoon and can't afford to think what might happen soon. See, like taking the 7th grade in heaven, because Guyana's main crop is dust, but it's not just the fine earthy kind that lines this bottle of rum, but this imperceptible herbicide dust that rusts ailing workers from the inside till their kidneys fail and they die working the same World Bank funded sugarcane plantation off of which this one family that owns half that nation gets awful rich making the sugar that's making the rum that's making me come over and over again to this liquor bottle in my hand. And so what, I am drunk off a sip of the same liquor that makes some lame cane worker sicker. You're all drunk off your need to buy cheaper and quicker junk you don't need, long as you don't see the people your money makes bleed. Don't blame me, my environment is just, because the people who eat my herbicidal dust are strangers to me, no danger to me. Don't complain to me about how drunk I am, because I am your Uncle Sam. And I may be dangerous and angry, but I ain't drunk, man. I need my rum cheap, my grapes cheap, my thumb drives cheap, and the people who make what I buy, I need their lives cheap. So if your Nicaraguan sister dies, as long as I eat, it ain't that deep. I am your Uncle Sam, so I know what I'm doing. Drunk or sober, I make dough by screwing your mother, nature, over and over and over.
Woo!
Saying about him.
Yes. Yes, yes. Word.
So this is the last piece I'll do. Yeah, so I'll just do it.
Saying about him. What are they saying about him? He's off the chain.
3 dozen men line Grand Ave in broad moonlight, trying to get someone to buy what they have. As my D-bus rushes by, I rub my moonstruck eyes like, Jesus, did New Haven's drug dealers finally unionize? But one of them hustlers is reeling in a customer who looks suspiciously like a fish, which he hits on the head on the edge of the bridge till it's dead so he can chuck it in his bucket and truck it home to his fridge. Oh, they're not dealing drugs, they're fishing. I wasn't about to judge. Well, yes, I was, because I must admit a bass fish is the last ish I expect to see on the back of this bus. But that's exactly what happens when one of those fishermen sits his pole and bucket right next to lucky me. His pungent fish punches my nose with the smell of the sea. When he tells me he's a refugee from Guinea, I see he's almost Civil War skinny. Says he'll scale and skin the bluefish, give it to his sister like a new wish to cook and eat while he looks for work, pounds the concrete. I look down at the brown feet of this unemployed fisherman riding the D-bus and suddenly think, this city is like Jesus, a fisher of men, fishing innocent people in again and again, since the very name of this city claims, come and you'll gain a true haven for you. But what if New Haven doesn't come true? What will the hopeful fished-in people do to cope with the distance between the true grit and the name that's so very pretty? Maybe that's why New Haven has always been a revolutionary city. I look up and sitting next to me is this old white guy with hair and eyes as wild as John Brown. who once came to this town to raise funds for his raid on Harper's Ferry, which starts to feel scary since he too was a fisher of men, a revolutionary abolitionist gathering fistfuls of them way back when, and he's speaking to a man wearing sandals so old they sure ain't Tivas. And that's when I realized that is John Brown on the back of the D bus giving dap to a black Jesus, hatching a plan to free 3 day laborers from Mexico locked up because they lack visas. And John Brown turns to black Jesus and says, Jesus. And Jesus says, dude, it's pronounced Jesus, and starts breaking ish down in Spanglish, Arabic, Aramaic, and some archaic language made of nothing but the anguish in John Brown's eyes, saying, everyone thinks we're crazy and no one sees us. And Jesus says, see. And that's how we got loose from that prison on Whaley Ave. And he's barely finished when this woman asks, can I give you a hand, sirs? My name's Erica Huggins. I started the New Haven branch of the Black Panthers. And before they can answer, Erica's hand reaches out the bus window and pulls in Warren Kimbrough, fishing youth from prison, stretching back to New Haven's revolutionary beginning when the Amistad rebels were imprisoned on the green. And Sengbe Pie already has a machete to the bus driver's throat, whispering, turn this boat around and give us free. Give us free. And the bus driver turns her dreadlocked head instead and says, I tell you, Sengbe, I hear you, but my plan is to start a peaceful revolution right here, man. And Sengbe checks the name tag to see who is driving the bus, telling us we'll get through this. And as he cries, Zannette Lewis, she opens the bus door so wide that she, John Brown, Jesus, Sengbe, and all the Panthers dance outside, fishing again for revolutionary women and men who will turn their wish into a living, loving flame that will make New Haven live up to its name.
Woo!
Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, thank you, New Haven.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So we come to the end. I'd like to thank all of the poets for representing and bringing the heat. We couldn't do it without you. But since this is virtual, we got people from all over the country and people all over the world checking this out on the largest stage. And I'm grateful that all of y'all are my friends. That's why I called y'all up and say, yo, we're gonna do this. And I think Z will have really loved it. I really do. And I appreciate the fact that we could do it. I want to thank Yale and the Dr. Martin Luther King Festival of Environmental and Social Justice. And I want to thank all of the poets, and I want to thank all of you for checking it out. And before we leave, we want to hear from David Heiser.
Also want to give a shout out to David and Jess, man, from putting the work, getting this all together for us in the back end, and Yale University. Yale Peabody making this work for us. We really appreciate it. All my fellow poets that came on the open mic that just pretty much, set up the stage on fire to let the revolutionary war begin in this virtual setting that we have here. In any case, I appreciate everyone. Thank you, and thank you. The mic is all yours, David.
All right. Well, this was an amazing night. I couldn't have thought of anything better. What a tribute for Zannette, who I was honored to meet 20 years ago, right after I came to the Peabody. What a visionary. As you said at the beginning in Ngoma, Zannette had an idea for what would make this celebration at the Peabody really something unique, something special, something really powerful. And everyone tonight, all the poets tonight, Croilot and Ngoma, you all represented so beautifully, so well, so deeply. And I have few words to say how honored I am to be part of this long history now, and how honored I am to have been present tonight for this amazing event. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody. Y'all stay safe now.
Love you.
Yeah.
For sure. Shout out to everyone. Stay safe. Have a blessed evening. And let's continue the journey. Freedom doesn't stop here.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah.